And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because
multiple mental health clinicians said that Derek had limited intellectual ability and was not capable of consenting.
Congratulations. Boom. Right? Change soccer in America forever.
Hella bugs out here. Dude, bro, I got keep caressing my leg, boy. Trying to get freaky out here.
Your step siblings and also husband and wife.
I can't do any of that stuff.
That's right. Yeah, in fact, soccer can crawl up my asshole and die for all I care.
And that's what the kids do, but I'm a little older. I like that shirt tucked in.
Who the hell told you that would not be seen on television?
Anal sex is the process of inserting a penis into the anus of another partner.
All right, welcome to Straight Red Card. I'm going to be a little hoarse tonight. As I did just play a rock and roll show over the weekend. It was the last Brando show probably ever, or likely, at the Musical Family Tree Festival in Bloomington, Indiana, which was sold out, which was crazy. So it was a rocking weekend for me, Brett, and I missed the game live. I had to watch it when I got home on Sunday late, and but I did know what the score was already, so that kind of blew the fizz off of it, right? Anyhow, thanks for all of you who are joining us tonight on the Straight. Yes, we will also give you our pick starting lineup at the end of the show for who we think of the scraps left is going to play for Pochettino versus Mexico. I just want to say that at least what we watched was not Berhalter Ball, and we will get into that soon. Sonia, we were talking after the show on Saturday, like it's a big party back at Joel's place. And so like Daniel Tao, my drummer, and I stayed at Joel's, and he's a very well-off guy. So he's got this cabin back in the woods in the back of his house that we stayed in, 2-floor cabin. I was on the first floor. Daniel, it's like luxury, dude. Luxury. Yeah. His wife made great food. I mean, it was like being in a 5-star hotel. That's all I got to say. And I do have to say we were all gathered around the fire, just the guys after the show on Saturday. And we were just joking about things. And I was like, you know, people were talking about the best songs to when they were young to have sex with. Oh, I had sex with her.
We were sex with songs? Gross.
No, we were talking about the best songs. You can't do that, Brett.
You said had sex with, so it just seems a little strange. I mean, words matter, Derek.
All right. I know you're not all mentally there, but what I was saying was, by the way, 69 right now, 69 people are here. Yeah, nice. And I said, you know, some of the best sex music is by Sigur Rós. I don't know if you remember them, for the Icelandic band. And so they're like, what's that? And so Daniel knew who they were. So he's like, I bet he means this song particularly. He started playing the song, right? So there's like a group of 7 of us. And we're all listening to it. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's dreamy. I guess that'd be good, you know, in an intimate setting. And then guess what the 2 dogs started doing?
Yeah, I could only imagine going at it.
Humping.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Like 2 minutes into the stall, the dogs, Joel's dogs, start going at it. We're like, see, this is romantic sex music. Anyhow, it was so fucking hilarious. Most of us pissed our pants. Snot was coming out of our nose. We were laughing so fucking hard. I mean, just that happening in particular at that exact moment was just crazy. And Joel said those 2 dogs have never done that before. They've never done it before. So we're like, it's the song, baby. It's the song. Yeah. All right. So that was one of the moments. We'll play a little snippet of me, my large mammaled ass, singing on stage. And Brett's going to join us here. Thank you, Brett, for the $10. I guess we'll bring Brett right in here during this the fluff section. Brett, are you ready to endure like a 5-minute more of fluff? Can you deal with that? Oh, he's muted. Can't hear you yet.
Yeah, your mic's set right now. You're still muted.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Gotcha.
There we go. So just
Oh.
Mic check. Mic check 1, 2. What is this?
I can hear you now, and I have like both.
Okay, well, Brett hasn't said anything. So there you go.
Important, at least, yeah.
So, Brett, I was just talking about I played my final show with my rock band this weekend. So I missed
But I have like I can hear you in like 2 different ways. It's weird.
Do you still have YouTube turned on? Mute
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah,
more than likely. I'm an
I
idiot.
literally had YouTube on in the background like a total idiot. What's up, guys?
What's up, Brett? Good to have you on here. Well, I was just talking about my last show with my band. And
I heard. Congrats, man.
Yeah, we haven't played for 13 years. Played at a sold-out festival in Bloomington. It was a lot of fun. And then I told a dog sex story.
I missed, unfortunately.
Well, there's
nerds.
Have you ever heard of the band Sigur Rós from Iceland?
No.
Some of the most romantic music ever written, like beautiful, expansive. And so I was telling the guys at the party after the show, this is a great song. You know, you're getting on. And so they're like, I haven't heard this song, but Daniel, my drummer, knew it. So we put it on. And in 2 minutes, Joel's dog, we were staying at Joel's house. Joel's dog started humping each other for the first time. He's like, they've never done this before. And I said, see, that's what happens with this music. All right, we're going to play a little bit of my large mammal.
There we go.
Oh, the sound's horrible. But we didn't sound horrible. This YouTube video sounds horrible.
Looking good, Derek.
I mean, does she pan to see any of the crowd?
No
crowd view, huh?
No, but it was packed. It was crazy. So
you didn't get the dogs in the background of that video.
No, that was after Brett.
Nothing about Brando's music turns anybody on. So
no, that's true. All right. I just want to say we're happy to have Brett here. I do want to say tonight's drink for me is the Bourbon Barrel Qualified by Taxman Brewing Company. It is a Belgian style quadruple ale aged in bourbon barrels. So quite fancy stuff. And it is 10% alcohol. So tread lightly on that. Tread lightly on that if you're drinking. So cheers to everybody.
Is 10% alcohol even still considered beer, Derek?
Well, it is.
At what percent does it become hard liquor?
It's becoming liquor at that point, yeah.
In Belgium, it's considered beer, where all beers are over 10%. So there you go. But this is an American, domestically brewed, inspired Belgian ale. My favorite beers are from Belgium.
I see Fumar is an IPA guy.
Voodoo Ranger Gang, yay! Also, Brett, okay, now they've got 2 Bretts on. This is going to be difficult. So I'm going to say Op and Brett. How's that? So
sure. Look on that one.
So Brett, do you know the difference? This is something I'm learning teaching anatomy between semen and sperm.
I was under the assumption they're synonyms.
I'm just happy that question was given to that, Brett.
yes.
I believe I do know the difference.
I believe seamen are people on a boat out in the ocean, right?
No, I mean yes, but no.
Sperm are are inside of semen. Semen is like the entire liquid, and sperm are the little guys that attack the egg.
He nailed it. Semen is the fluid that sperm flow into, and I've been teaching the kids this. It's been fantastic. We did fertilization.
Derek, why you teach English? Why are you teaching about sperm and semen?
They didn't have an anatomy teacher, so I'm teaching anatomy too.
Good thing to know.
Yeah, so I'm learning a lot too. Although I knew that one already, but the kids didn't. They thought it was the same thing.
I can see Derek sitting up there with the book going, "No fucking shit."
No, actually,
this is to me.
Actually, Brett, it's a video, and the funniest thing is this cartoon penis goes from flaccid to hard, then it goes through the whole process of it coming out and all that. And the kids are in the back going,
now you get a dinosaur.
This is a very educational app.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we try to do that. But okay, since you're on the show, we'll skip the fluff for the most part. We'll add it in later, since I know your time is limited.
Actually, I do have we're hosting the district attorney of LA at our offices in like an hour.
Okay.
So I have to get cleaned up and stuff for that. But I got.
Well, you go from this show to that, by the way.
Yeah. That's going to be a totally different conversation, obviously. There. So Brett, where do we want to start on this game? Do we want to? Because that's what we're going to do is kind of talk about our feelings about the game. So why don't we let Mr. Oppenheim start on his general feelings, and then we'll get to specifics.
I actually was at the game in Austin. I just got back last night, so it was pretty cool, pretty fun weekend.
Right.
What I think about the game, that's a pretty general question, but I would say overall, I thought that the term intensity has been used too often, but I'm going to use it anyway. I felt like every time we lost the ball, we really attacked them pretty hard with a lot of intensity and got it back. I'd say, I don't know what percent of the time, but I like the way we acted right when we lost the ball, which I know was one of the things that they were working on. And I thought it was pretty effective.
Did you notice?
I'd say the defense.
Go ahead. Sorry, I was going to ask you if you noticed a significant change in the way we played.
Well, I thought that we were really intense when we lost the ball. Like we just went right after them with 3 or 4 guys. The way we pressed, not all the time, but for the first right when we lose possession, it looked like Poch told them, look, for the next 30 seconds, just go aggro on them and see if you can get it back. And if you don't, then fall back in your position or something I don't know how the conversations went, but it kind of looked like that's what we were doing. And I thought it was pretty effective. I thought that was a little bit new. I thought the defense played great for maybe the first 2/3 of the game. They were outstanding. The last third, there were some chances I didn't love. Matt Turner saved our ass with an incredible save.
I think at that last third, though, you're really looking at the rest of the team dropping back in tempo to an extent. So once we started making all the subs, you started losing a little bit of chemistry there. And it
was right about the time we made some subs. That's true. But still, it's the same defense. We didn't sub any of the defenders out. And they didn't. But overall, I think the defense did well. I'd say the first 65 minutes was outstanding. Offensively, overall, I thought everything was pretty good. It's a friendly, and it wasn't all of our guys that we normally have. But I would say overall, from watching it in person, I would say I would give it a B.
Mm-hmm.
Like a B. Yeah.
That's fair. I do agree with you that we gave it some chances that were unnecessary, and I do agree that Matt made some great saves. That was great to see. That the shot stopping is still there. Number one, but also, I noticed that the pattern of play changed. And that comes with a different formation and a different setup, and having. I mean, if you're going to play 3 in the back, including Scally was kind of smart because he's quicker, he's nimble. I think that helps. If you put another real true center back there, I think that's kind of. I don't know. I get wary because I don't like. Our center back depth in general. So if you're moving Scally into there, I'm like, okay, we know he can defend. So that's good.
Well, I mean, hold on to cut you off there. In that sense, though, I mean, we were only playing a 3 back in the build up forward. Once we lost possession, and to your point, Brett, when it seemed like you had mentioned maybe after 30 seconds, then go back to your normal positions. It almost seemed like after if the Panama makes 3 complete passes, then retreat back to your positions.
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed that quick. If they made a couple quick passes and transition out, then you retreat back. But I mean, Jedi wasn't necessarily a left back, but he did come back when we were sitting back. So to your point, Derek, we weren't necessarily playing a quote unquote 3 center backs back line because there was that fluidity between the offense and the defense there. Whereas a third true center back would be different.
It looked like we had 3 center backs when we were building out. 2 6s and 3 center backs.
Yep.
It looked like
our crosses were more meaningful. We weren't just launching crosses in with a crowded box. Our crosses were very meaningful and very effective.
No, I agree with that. I think building out, and somebody pointed out in a video, which is really good because I texted Brett that when I was watching the game on Sunday. We were playing like a 3-2-4-1. I mean, that's how high the backs are. And you could just see how that was set up. And I think it's good to know if you're playing in that double pivot as Busio and Morris did, that there are 3 guys behind you now. Not 2, there are 3. So if something goes wrong or something gets flubbed up, which it did with Morris several times, you knew you had 3 guys behind you. And that, I think, made them I would have liked to see that work out better more often for Morris and more passes forward. But I never felt like we were, especially as you said, in the first 2/3 of the game, that threatened, although there were some opportunities.
Not really in the first 65, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were one or two chances, not great ones, in the first half.
They had the side netting shot that had no angle that Turner's like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
Right.
Aside from that, pretty much non-existent.
Right.
What I liked most about our pressure in that sense was that you saw a lot of errors, especially in their defensive third. Playing it back to the goalkeeper resulted in 2 corner kicks just from the high pressure we were doing at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Panama, and it's at home. Who knows? I was really looking. I'm still really looking forward to Mexico, but we are about as. I think we're probably more banged up than we will ever statistically be again. It is.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. I mean, if you just look at like just normal data, the amount of injuries we have is like 1 in 100 camps. 1 in 200 camps might have that type of injuries.
Like 11 potential not starters, but potential 23.
And that's before this game started.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, remember we were pretty banged up, and then the last day of club ball, we lost 3 guys. We lost Ballo, Johnny, and somebody else. I forget the last day, and then we lost 5 again. Like after that, it's crazy.
Yeah, Mike B says Morris was serviceable. I'd like to see Maloney try that role. I don't think that Maloney's anywhere near that type of player. He's not a distributor. Obviously,
I don't think Morris is a distributor then either, though. That's my point.
He totally is. Go watch Middlesbrough. He is their
Sorry. That match. I'm just going to say, everything I'm referring to Morris was this specific match.
I don't think there was a lot open, honestly. I don't think
you can make that argument. I'm just saying, and I'm going to pull this up now, I guess.
No, I agree with you, Brett. But I also agree with you, Derek. I don't think there was much open, but he wasn't pushing the ball forward like you would love to see. But he was pretty well defensively.
So this is our lineup, our starting lineup, and the numbers next to their name are the amount of touches they had. And what I'm seeing is our back line and Morris have nearly 100 touches each.
Yeah,
the next closest person is Busio with Jedi with 54. So I mean,
yeah, the real depressing.
It was a lot of playing back and forth, and then the long ball forward to open up things.
The real depressing number here, guys, is Aronson and Sargent.
Yeah, the two with the least amount of touches in the game.
And that's still a concern. That has not been fixed.
To that point, though, when Pepe came on, he had on par just as many touches per minute, more or less, as Sargent. So again, this is the situation where we're not necessarily seeing a lot of ball through our center forward. In the end, so when the rare instances that they get the ball, they got to make the most of it. We saw Pepe made the most of it, and we'll get into this in more depth later on. But a lot of our game occurred in our defensive half, and we played it forward. Which I'm not downplaying. I'm not saying, oh, this was bad. This is bad. I'm just saying, making a point. There was a lot of play between our defense and Aiden Morris.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we did favor going down Pulisic and Jedi's side for obvious reasons. So they got way more touches than Aronson and Musa did. If you put those numbers together, I mean, it's pretty.
Jedi played more minutes, I think. Well, or maybe not. Were they subbed in at the same time?
I know Musa came off
Musa came off later. He came off later. Jedi came off earlier than I think Musa did.
Okay.
And yet, Jedi's touches were gargantuan comparably.
I do want to iterate. Yeah. I do want to iterate that I'm not bashing Morris as a passer. I'm just saying most of his passes were back into the defense.
But go back like 2 years and imagine if Tyler Adams, back when we had like Kellen Acosta. I mean, just imagine if like our top 2 6s or top 3 6s were out 2 years ago. I mean, our 6 depth is unreal right now. I absolutely love it. And we still have Tanner. I mean, it's incredible to have a guy starting in Serie A and a guy starting and playing well in the championship on a top team in the championship, and a guy also playing in Serie A on the bench. Pardon me, Liga, not Serie A. With all the injuries that we have, and we still have 3 6s with that caliber. It's incredible.
I think that the idea here was that Morris is going to be more of a Middlesbrough type distributor, like he is with Middlesbrough. He is in the championship, one of the top rated passers going forward, but he didn't show that last night with the team, as Brett Corbett said. Yes, too many back passes. I would have liked to see more progressive play, but still give them time. They're working in a new system, a whole new setup, a whole new formation.
And to that point, as far as the progressive passes forward, I saw more passes forward between, say, Busio, Morris, and Ream. Even McKenzie had some nice balls splitting the seam, nice 20-yard balls through the middle to open up the pitch. It was much better than what we saw the last couple of years.
I do agree.
As far as moving forward. So it's a positive moving forward. I know there's a lot of talk like, the game was underwhelming. It was messy. 100% don't agree. 100% don't disagree with any of that. Underwhelming.
That's
seems
too
a little
big.
harsh. That seems a little harsh.
Yeah.
As far as messy and sloppy at times, sure, it's going to happen. But I saw positive things moving forward, and hopefully we can continue that path moving forward.
Was that tact you said underwhelming, by the way?
Yes, he did, yeah.
I thought that's too much. I think it was, as far as patterns of play go, for at least a great percentage of the game, different than Berhalter Ball. I thought it was a step in the right direction. And this is straight out of the box, right, Brett? This is straight out of the box. You can't expect something to come out of the box and be that great with, a few hours of real practice together?
No, they barely had time to go over just basic tactics. Like you said, I think they had two training sessions on Saturday. They just met for like half an hour. So no, there's only so much you can do, but it did feel different even with the brief amount of time they've had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the patterns of play in the sense that there were times when the other team decided to press suddenly that we lopped it up the field to see if we could take advantage of them playing so high. That you would never see or rarely saw with Berhalter Ball. And so that's a big difference. That's a big change. We've been asking for that. Did that amount to anything necessarily in the game? No, but that's what you need to do with teams that pop up high. You need to lob it over and let Sargent go get it. And or one of the wingers go get it. And so I think we'll see more of that. I think the general substance of what Poch is trying to get across to the team definitely made us look different. And I thought there was more flow. I'd like to see more fluidity, but I saw more freedom of play, more fluidity than I've seen for some time.
I agree. Yeah, I think it was a little bit more purposeful. I would like you said, I would have liked for the midfield to maybe been a little bit more offensive, maybe Morris in particular. But overall, I thought both midfielders played pretty well. So I would say, like I said, a B. I felt pretty good about it. But there's going to be an interesting game on Tuesday.
So go ahead, Brett.
Although actually, just real quick, the players said that they thought Panama. A couple of the players I talked to said that they thought Panama is tougher than Mexico because they're like more compact and. I think they like the open flow a little bit better.
Well, Mexico tries to play us head up, so there's more space. They don't go compact. That's generally not how Mexico plays anyhow, right? So go ahead, Brett.
I was gonna say I've been saying for years, going off that point, I've been saying for years that the U.S. even under Berhalter were much better when they were playing against a team that were pressing and pressing and pressing. Not pressing in the sense of like El Salvador, but like a solid team like when we played England and they're pressing because they felt confident. They opened up for the counter, the press, and everything like that. Whereas Panama closes that center of the pitch up for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough for us sometimes. Even Trinidad and Tobago, remember they had us like 85th minute. It was still 0-0.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just really tough.
Go ahead. Sorry, Derek.
I was going to say, whereas Mexico still believes it's 1996 or 1986, and they're still playing us like they get to dictate. Well, those days are over for them. We got better players, so we're going to dictate, and they're just leaving themselves wide open because they still think it's 1986, and those days are over. So,
and I think our guys prefer that type of.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So Brett, given that you have some connections, obviously, into U.S. soccer, I'm curious if you've heard anything about the intensity of the practices and whether or not that kind of led into some of the injuries that we saw in the 5 players that ended up leaving the pitch or the camp.
From what I understand, McKinney had the beginnings of whatever he's got going on before camp.
Yep. That's what Poch said. Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Good.
Yeah.
So that's not a brand new thing because of the intensity of the training. And Pepe's has nothing to do with training. I guess he was knocked out. He was visibly upset when I saw him after the goal, and I didn't know why. In the lobby, I was like, bro, you should be like on cloud 9. I didn't say that. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
But I guess he had just found out that he's not going to Mexico, which sucks for him. But I don't know. Yeah, a couple of the guys said that it was intense, but nobody was like, oh man, it was so hard. Nobody was complaining.
There.
And I don't think it led to any injuries. I don't know what happened to Stefan, but I really doubt it was like too intense of training. It's just probably some accidental thing. I know it wasn't that McKinney had his. Pepe's was just a fluke. I think he got hit in the head.
And Fossey came in with an injury.
Yeah, so I don't think it was that at all.
And I think Pulisic's was always planned, quite frankly.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about managing Pulisic's minutes because he's playing so much. I
heard he was going home right when camp started after one game. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. For the 200 of you here right now, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandma. If you don't have a grandma, if she's passed away, share it with your stepsister. Thank you for watching the show. All right, bro. Go ahead, Brett. I'm sorry. Oh,
well, I mean, it didn't progress. I thought we just got done talking about that. Hey, Brett, what do you think of the officiating?
That's funny. I didn't really give it too much thought until right now, which probably means that I thought it was pretty good.
It was
exactly
pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my thought process too. I thought she had a great game because she wasn't the 23rd man on the pitch.
Right. No, she was good. And I thought there were women on the sidelines too. It
was an all-woman squad.
All women. And I think they did a great job.
Wow.
They did a great job.
They did, because I didn't even think about the officiating, which is all you can ask for.
I said it was the best U.S. ref game in a long time. I mean,
I agreed.
She let the game play. I mean, it was physical at times. There were fouls missed, but there were fouls missed for both sides. All I ask for a ref is consistency. If you're going to let the game play, let the game play. If you're going to call it tight, call it tight. But don't call it tight one way and let the game play the other way. So I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, and she's called, I guess, women's Gold Cup games before. Yep. I think
Olympics,
she's the first
Liga MXE.
First woman to call Liga MXE's men's game. So that was, it's kind of cool.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't become a controversy or anything. I'm glad it was a smooth.
Well, you still had people in the comments going DEI, and it's like, no, maybe she's just good at what she does. Do we need to always DEI something? Is that the new thing? Every time a woman does something good, DEI. No, we don't need to.
Both ways, on both sides of the spectrum, and people go too far.
So
I agree. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, and I got that, and I got the. I hope she sees this, bro. And I'm like, oh, A+ on the originality on that one, man. Come on, dude.
Anyhow, great job by her. Great job by the crew. And I think the players actually were honestly had a less tendency to be aggressive and gnarly after a call they didn't like was made. Maybe because they are women, because they seem to not be arguing and bitching as much as they used to.
I think that's one of the worst things about soccer. Two things I don't like. One is all the rolling around. And two is the getting up in the ref's face every time. I think there should be like, if I was a ref in soccer, I would just strangle everyone that got that close to me screaming in my face. I couldn't handle it. I think that should be somehow banned or figure out a way to make it where it doesn't happen.
It should only be the captains allowed to approach the ref.
Like be an automatic yellow card if you get within like 5 feet of a ref. There should just be some like circumference. I can't stand that part of soccer where every single time they make any type of call, there's just 5 people in their face.
Yeah. No, from a player standpoint, from a fan standpoint, though, man, I spent this past fall season, coaching U10s, and there fouls were called that I was like, that wasn't a foul, but I'm like, the ref's only 14 years old. Don't say anything,
Alexa,
but I went this entire time without saying anything to a ref. That I went to go watch my nephews play, who are adults, and they're playing in an adult league here in Indy. And oh God, I had fun yelling at the ref. I don't know what it
It
is.
sets a bad example. All these professionals screaming at refs sets a bad example for 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds watching as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So in the end, we ended up playing what is a 3-4-2-1, which is interesting, to say the least. And then if we have to go over some individual player performance, I'll start with Turner and say,
we go down the list. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Turner was the old Turner. Good shot stopping.
The best Turner I've seen in a long time.
Still bad with his feet on occasion.
No, sometimes, yeah. I think every time he tried to distribute the ball out, I think there's one play where he, Jedi had to jump up and chest it. But aside from that, it was always like 10 yards over everybody's head out wide. I'm like, hey, just hoof the ball forward, dude. Don't even try to play it out wide. Just kick it up. Sargent will get to it.
I gave him a big hug in the lobby and said he saved the clean sheet. I was like so happy to see him. And
he did. I don't remember when those saves were made. It was like maybe 64.
It was about the 62nd area.
Yeah.
Run that range.
Yeah. He had like the one with his
saves.
left hand, and then he had it was a double save. Yeah, but the one with the first of the double saves was freaking amazing. I don't even know how he saw that ball coming.
Getting up and making that second save was massive. Huge.
Yeah, that too. Both.
Yeah.
Right. Reem. I don't have much complaints about Reem. I thought he played pretty well for an old dude, and didn't get in much trouble. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty decent game. Anybody else thoughts on Reem?
What do you guys do? Like 1 to 10 or A to D or just?
We usually do letter grades, but I'd give him a B. I think he was fine.
Yeah, B.
He was the one who lobbed the ball forward to Jedi, which ended up resulting in the first goal.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the type of stuff that we wanted to see from Reem since pre-Copa and on. I mean, we didn't see that for like the last 4 or 5 games under the Berhalter era, and then the 2 games under Mikey.
I apologize, guys. I think I'm going to have to run, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to Musa for his first ever goal. I love to see that.
Oh yeah, that was nice to see.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
That. And have you ever seen a better smile on anyone in world football than that guy after he scored that goal, man?
He was so happy.
Yep.
He was so happy. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Brett, thanks for coming on short notice.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it.
I watch you guys a lot, so it was nice to jump on and keep doing what you're doing. And thanks for having me. And some other time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Take care, guys.
Catch you later.
Okay. By the way, did you see in Pete and I guess they're live after the game thing? Pete didn't know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was?
Yeah, they figured out he was probably in Thailand. Actually, but
either in India or Malaysia.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I was like, really? Come on, Pete. Come on, Pete. Got to know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is.
No names. I mean, you may not necessarily watch him play and everything like that, but you got to know pop culture references.
Well, you probably didn't watch him play either, though.
I don't know. Absolutely did not watch him play. No.
I did. I'm that old,
dude. No, I was never an NBA fan. I mean, I watched during the Reggie years. Besides that, no, not really. Yeah. They definitely don't do it now. Fuck that.
I had the luxury of living when I was 14, 15, blah, 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 watching the
Magic
Bird, total amazing. Jordan was nobody yet in those years.
He came at the tail end of it. Yeah,
I mean,
he was the whole linear aspect of it all.
Larry Bird was handing him his lunch and sinking threes over Jordan. Trust me, and early on in that. But Jordan did finally get his way. So
I love watching all these reaction videos about Bird. And they're like, everybody keeps putting me onto this white boy. He can't be that good, right? And they're like, oh my God, did you see that pass?
Yeah, he's a good player. He was a great player. And I really enjoyed those days of watching basketball. In fact, my first team was the Celtics. For whatever reason, they were always on national TV. And so I started getting on board. You know, they got DJ, Parrish, McHale, Danny Ainge, Larry Bird. I used to watch as many of those games as I could. Yeah, great squad.
I love watching just the former players talk about Bird on those videos that are on YouTube and stuff.
Oh, I love that.
I love they're like I was like Charles Barkley has stories like he's like you know, I was looking at Bird and Bird looked really down on himself. I'm like, Bird, what's wrong with you? He goes, Man, I'm just disappointed you got the white boy marking me. You know.
Yeah. I know. you put that white guy on.
Put that white guy on me.
You can't cover me.
You gotta show me respect.
Also, this is not the call out Pete show because we love Pete, but Pete didn't know. Do you know all the ranks in the Army from lowest to highest?
No chance in shit. Not at all.
He didn't either, but he was close. It's private, corporal, sergeant, lieutenant. I mean, I'm not going to go because, there's second lieutenants and first lieutenant. And then you got captains, majors, lieutenant colonels, and then the generals 1 through 5 stars. So there you go. You got to know that. If you're an Army brat, you definitely know that because there's no way around it.
So, Johnny, I'll get you I know your super chat came in when Brett was here. I'm going to get to that here when we come back to the USA versus Panama game. We're kind of dabbled into it a little bit here.
Right.
And we're going to bounce back to our normal show and then come back to it in the end here.
Circle back around. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Give you a little taste. And we'll pull it back together, okay? No worries.
Yeah. PT69 says, I know the Marine Corps ranks by heart. If you're in the Marine Corps or you're around them, you will know that as well. Also, people don't know the difference, like in the size of different forces, Brett. Remember, you got squads, then you got platoons, then you got companies, then you got battalions, then you got brigades, then you got divisions, then you got corps, and you got armies. So armies have like 3 to 4 corps.
Yeah.
The corps have 3 to 4 to 5 divisions. Brigades have 3 or 4 or 5 battalions. So you're getting the point here.
Yeah.
Right? A battalion. Anyhow. All right. There we go.
All right. Let me I guess before we get into our other topics, I had some other fluff I wanted to talk about real quick.
All right, go for it.
I just after about a year of not having my debit card because it's been marked for fraud because of Jackson it was all Apple purchases from the wife or Jackson on Roblox. My card kept getting for my Apple account kept getting dinged for fraud.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because there's a lot of $2.99 purchases. I'm like, yeah, I know. I see my bank account. I see it. Stop.
Right.
Not fraud, guys. I know what it is. But whatever. I've been just kind of avoiding going that route of getting it back up, which takes a 5-minute phone call. But I got my card back. I reactivated it. I took it out to Meyer to get some vodka. And the cheap shit vodka, the Skull, the Dark Eyes, all that shit. Not on sale, quote unquote sale. You know how much Skull vodka goes for? Not on sale, apparently. $16.99.
Oh, fuck that.
So that's what I said. So I said, oh, fuck that. I'm gonna drive 2 minutes down the road to a fucking liquor store for that shit.
Right. No way.
I went to the liquor store and I grabbed 2 handles. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this 3 days from now. I'm not gonna have to deal with getting another handle, whatever. Brought 2 handles. And she scans it, and I put my card in. She goes, "Can I see your ID?" Flash the ID, and she goes, "Total is going to be $42.96." I'm like, $42, and she goes, "Oh shit, pull your card out." Oh, it already went through. I'll reimburse you. I will refund it. Don't worry. I'm like, because she charged me for 4 bottles instead of 2, because the 2 and the 4 are next to each other, I guess.
Sure.
And she's going through, and I can just see like she's stressing out. I'm like, it's okay, because even if you can't refund it, I'll just go grab another 2 handles and be done with it. Whatever, we'll go through it. I don't care. I'm just saying. But then I got overcharged on another thing the very next day. So it's just that debit card. I swear to God, reimbursing that or opening that up again, reactivating it was just a shit.
What a pain in the ass. By the way, people were talking about regiments. Regiments varied in sizes, so you guys can talk about that depending on what army we're talking about, what era as well. Who was the only 5-star general? There were lots of 5-star generals. There was MacArthur, Eisenhower, Bradley became a 5-star.
Oh, never mind.
Patton, Grant was eventually a 5-star, I believe. MacArthur. I've already mentioned MacArthur. McClellan. think McClellan was a 5-star eventually, but anyhow.
Zach McCabe said there's 5 5-stars in World War II.
Yes, I think I mentioned them all. MacArthur, Eisenhower, Bradley, Patton, and who am I missing? I'm missing one. All right.
Pocata says Brett should tell this story to Alcoholics Anonymous, not the podcast.
Somebody's saying Patton was not 5. Wasn't he posthumously given a 5-star, a 5th star when he died? I thought he was after he died. I may be wrong, but I know he's a 3-star and a 2-star for most of the war. So I don't know about 5 stars during World War II. Let me know. I've got MacArthur, Eisenhower, Bradley for sure. Those are your 5 stars during World War II. If there are more, let me know. That would be news to me. Or I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what I'll do. Oh yeah, book, that kind of thing. All right.
Last thing I'll mention before we jump into our actual topics here. I was driving out to my nephew's games yesterday, halfway into Noblesville. Despite the fact my son said he didn't want to go, my wife calls and say, "Hey, where are you?" Jackson says he wants to go to the game. I'm like, all right, I'll come pick him up because it's over in Lawrence, and I was going to shoot through back roads to it or whatever. I go and pick him up. I'm like, you know what? Maps is saying the highway's faster. Let's go the highway.
Nope.
So the eastbound ramp onto 465 was shut down. Forced me to turn westbound and go all the way to Michigan Street, which is 2 miles out of the way.
Yeah.
But the problem was that eastbound was backed up all the way to fucking Michigan. So I turned to Jackson. I go, we're not going to the game. I'm going to go down Michigan, shoot back around. I was in the car for like 45 fucking minutes just to do a fucking circle around.
Yeah.
I was so pissed. I was just like, what a waste of a fucking day.
465's jerk off city.
God damn. I should have taken back roads. I mean, I could have taken 3 other routes there. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not worried.
Not worried. Oh, I don't, by the way, somebody said Arnold. I don't know when he became a 5-star during World War II, but I'm just talking about all of them that did eventually become 5 stars, like Bradley became a 5-star. I know because I met Bradley in 1984 in West Point. I shook his hand. I was just a child. And yeah, I met the guy. I met Omar fucking Bradley. Yes, I did. All right. Goals TV. Yesterday, U.S. Soccer laid off 30 employees despite surging revenue. I mean, that's kind of like, okay, yeah, but then they're paying this new dude a lot of money. The cuts were felt across the federation, which includes marketing. Good. They're horrible at marketing.
They weren't doing shit to begin with.
Their marketing team sucks. They should be fired. Sales. I mean, those are the guys raising the prices. No, I mean, those are the guys selling the tickets.
Yeah.
Sporting.
I don't know what that means. Oh, wait, referring derp.
Referring. You mean referee?
I caught it myself. Okay, come down.
I don't know how you can cut the coaching departments, but okay, they did.
Oh, those U15 coaches, I guess. I don't know.
They got rid of the U8 coach and the U10 coach.
Well, in fairness, they got rid of all of Berhalter's assistants.
That's true. They did. So I guess those are goners. Currently, the Federation is around 340 employees, which means the cuts could equate to 9% of the workforce. Sources say that employees who are being laid off were called into one-on-one meetings. That's not unusual. While HR, okay, they were called into one-on-one meetings with HR, by the way, while the other lower HR associates, let me clarify what really happened, packed up their belongings for those employees. This is not unusual. I did it to people. That's how you do it. You fire them and you have them in a meeting when while you're firing them, you clear out their desk and you put it in a box so they can just pick it up and leave. There's no drama. They were not allowed to return to their desks and were escorted out of the building. Totally normal. Yeah. U.S. Soccer earned $32 million in commercial revenue last year. Deals with soccer are some. This current financial year, which ends in March 31st, they are projecting $110 million in revenue, which is 243% increase in 2 years. So what's the point? What are you saying? They shouldn't have fired them? Maybe they were bad at their jobs. Maybe they sucked and they do in the marketing department for sure. I hope they cleared out the whole marketing department. I hope they did, including whoever's running it should have been cleared out too.
Well, I mean, think about the issue here. Between 32 million in commercial revenue last year with the deal with Sum. I'm not sure why they're still making money with Sum. I'm not sure how that works out, but I'm sure there's some dealings there. But I think, and then the current revenue 110 mil. You know what? Almost half of that 110 mil is the $50 million donated by blank. I imagine going towards the new setup in Atlanta. So I mean, 110 seem just saying that they made 110 this year.
It's not a lot of money.
It's not accurate too because of what they're doing in the end. So they got to pay. They got to pay a previous men's coach. They got to pay for the current coach, and then they got to pay for the new system. I mean, it's
What about all of the programs they support for women's soccer? That costs a fucking shitload. Not to mention all the youth programs going on across the country that they pay for. So 110 million in revenue, that's nice, but I mean, they've got a lot of expenses coming up and expansion expenses for youth development. So I would imagine that's not really that. I mean, and look at the salaries of some of the guys working there. And you know who they are, people. That's not cheap either. So, and then they got Poch. They got to pay Poch. It's not cheap. I don't know. I don't think they have as much money to throw around. At least that what people told me.
For Poch, they had to actively go out and address their pay pigs. I say pay pigs. That's probably a bad way of wording it.
Not really.
But like the donors and say, hey, can you help pony this up? I know this X amount of million is pocket change and you have it in your couch, but can you help us out here?
They're not making cuts because they got a whole lot of money to just throw around. They're making cuts because it's actually tighter than this report and this post says.
Mm-hmm.
It's much tighter than that, folks. Or else you don't go out, as Brett said, and coddle some pay pigs to pay for your coach. You don't do it.
Mine in the satchel, 100%.
You don't do deep throat to pay for Poch if you already got it. And they went out and they did some deep throat. Or whatever you want to call it. Gangbang bukkake. Whatever they had to do, they did it for these bigger CEOs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Chris and Krista is asking Lawless, are you okay to declare the rehire of Berhalter a total failure and horrible decision in hindsight? Just say it, man.
He won't.
Well, of course not.
I mean, that's just him being stubborn. He says, given that, by all accounts, USSF was ready to rehire him after the World Cup 22. Why is he so worried about that? Why is he so... We had him on the show. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what are you talking? Who gives a shit what U.S. Soccer had already guaranteed him? Who gives a fuck?
There was conflicting takes on this, though. I mean, Ernie and Brian McBride both had conflicting takes as far as what Berhalter's future would be after the World Cup. I believe Brian said that it was always part of their plan to rehire Berhalter, and I think Ernie said that nothing was set in stone. We had no decision after that.
And if I had to believe one or the two, I'm going to believe Ernie because he had actual power, where McBride had this for power, just his lube in his little office. That's it for power that McBride had in that job. So I'm going to go with Ernie and say that there was nothing guaranteed in stone for Berhalter. What a bullshit. I don't think so. Nobody gets anything guaranteed in stone. Nobody gets that in the business world. Not in this situation, too. It was the right and honorable thing to do at the time. Oh, squeaky, 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 blah. Come on, Lexi. He said that on our show. We're just like, you betrayed. You're one principle.
One cycle.
One
Purist.
cycle. Purist. Just because it hurt your feelings that they might not rehire him because of what the Reynas did? Get over it. Like we said to him, I don't care what the Reynas did. That's not going to change my fucking point of view about one cycle. You know, you're the president of the One Cycle Club, and you told him, and I told him we felt betrayed right to his face. So, and he's like, listen, you might end up being correct. You guys might end up being right. He said it to us, which is good. That was the wrong thing to do. And yes, it was the wrong thing to do. So you should not say the words absolutely not. You should say, in hindsight, it was probably the wrong thing to do. That it's okay to eat crow on occasion. I'm eating crow on Busio. You can do it on Greg. Get over it.
I mean,
come on, man.
I mean, JT came out and said during the Poch addressing, and that was before Poch was announced, I guess. But he said that, like, basically the quality of candidates that came out the first time through after 2022 compared to now was night and day.
That was a joke.
I don't think that. I think he's just saying that. Quite frankly, I think as we talked about with Sportsology and all that shit, I think the quality of candidate didn't want to deal with the shit that we were trying to deal with or put forth.
Well, yeah, and that interview process, we were asking people to go through a slate of tests, mental tests. And they didn't do that this time to Poch, did they? They're like, oh, we see your resume, and we don't actually need your resume because we know who you are, and we're just going to hire you for who you are. You don't need to go through a litany of fucking mental tests and all that other horse shit they made all the other candidates. Like, I think Jesse Marsh basically went through them and felt pretty hard done about not being hired. And then there were a couple coaches that came in and said, fuck you, I'm not doing that. That's what I was told. I'm not doing your fucking mental gymnastic tests. You can go suck a dick. I'm not doing it. You want to hire me? Here's my resume. Go fuck off. So some guy in the chat said, I'm watching this show because Tact highly recommended you. I don't remember who it was. But, wow, that's a lot of pressure. But we're just going to do what we do. And we hope you like it. It's not for everybody.
Referring to, but yeah.
It's not for everybody. Tact is right. Straight red card guys are great. Thank you, Judgmental Deity. Yes, if you missed the fluff at the beginning of the show, lots of people like the fluff. Lots of people don't like the fluff. What are you going to do? There's, Anyhow, this is what Alexi said, and he's wrong. He's just wrong. He should not have said absolutely not. He should have said, yeah, hindsight 2020, rehiring Greg was not the best choice. Well, it's simple to do that. It's just simple to eat a little crow every once in a while.
I mean, he could have said, yeah, it would have been nice to have Poch from day one, but did we have it? We'll never know all the ins and outs, what have yous. You could have knuckled around it, but instead of saying, no, it's the right thing to do, and then he failed, and we got to move on.
Yeah, I mean, really, the other question would have been, okay, if not Greg, who is the probably likely guy that was going to be hired? We all know who that was. It's Jesse Marsh. And is Jesse Marsh doing a good job with Canada? Absolutely fucking he is. He's doing a great job. Would he have been the best guy for the job? No, I'm glad we got Poch. So I guess in the end, if he could have twisted this, Alexi could have twisted it and said, well, in the end, we got Poch, right? We didn't get Jesse Marsh. We got Poch because we rehired Greg. He could have twisted this and made it funny. But being stubborn about it, I don't know. I'm not for that. But Alexi, we love you, and we'll have you back on the show, of course, if you'll have us. And we'll talk about it some more. Not again. You tagged him on the rant again when you sent it to me this weekend.
No. I tagged you, and he's part of the whole chain. He's been tagged on that a number of times. So, yeah, I didn't tag him. I tagged you.
Oh, so he's going to get to watch that again. Oh, great. Oh,
no,
great.
At least he knows what we're talking about now.
He'd be like, yeah, those guys are assholes.
So we got this former U.S. men's national team coach and player coaching the Chicago Fire, and he says, my vision is simple to make America.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? My vision is simple: build one of the top clubs in North America. Well, at least he didn't say to change the way fans in Illinois see Chicago Fire soccer in the future.
Fucking got nowhere to go but up. So I mean, technically, he won't. He may not necessarily get to the pinnacle of where he wants to be, but he'll at least be moving the bar up, I imagine.
God, man, your team sucks so hard, Brett. They really do.
So Dan says, I don't care. I think it goes, I don't care much for MLS because of the fundamental flaws, because he's a pro and rail guy.
Right.
But I'm so rooting for this guy, for this man, like I root for the players. 3G, go build, and shame them. Basically saying like he wants Greg to do well, so fuck the Greg haters type thing. So I said, couldn't be any worse than what we had prior to the announcement.
That's true.
Dan says your optimism is noted.
Yeah.
And then I said, LOL, Derek says the same thing every preseason. Me, Derek, this is the season Chicago makes it to the playoffs. And Derek goes, why do you do this to yourself?
It's so true. Why do you do this to yourself?
Derek, this is the year, Derek. Come on.
Why do you do this to yourself? I don't know.
Frank says Chicago's worse than Colorado, but yeah.
I just want to bring it up again since it might have been missed. This is what I'm drinking tonight. This is bourbon barrel qualified by Taxman. It is 10% alcohol. It is a Belgian style quadruple ale aged in bourbon barrels. It is quite good. I would say, if I had to say it, and I'm going to say it, it is distinctly potable. Distinctly potable.
It is potable. Yeah.
It is distinctly potable.
So, Derek, I know you saw it, but a lot of people might have missed this. But Pato came out. Am I saying his name right?
Oh, yeah.
He came out and gave his take on the Ibra versus Gooch fight.
I am glad this finally came out because I always was curious.
Well, we had a inside information by any means, but we knew that there was a kerfuffle.
Yeah,
and we knew that Gooch went toe to toe with Ibra.
Yep.
All because of a dirty tackle. Now, mind you, we heard about the dirty tackle.
We knew this years ago.
We knew about the dirty tackle against Gooch, but we didn't know the buildup between them. So you had sent me who says Goals TV again. And I was just gonna, because they quoted the highlights of the article and stuff like that. It's like, oh, right. I don't even need to go over the article. However, I will say, read the highlight goes, Ibra is more
repulsive.
He got up and immediately started insulting him. Now, I say that. The reason why I bring that up.
That is translated from Portuguese, by the way.
Because the actual Milan article says Gooch got up calmly. He was really nice. He has a heart of gold. Not that Ibra isn't, but he's more impulsive. And he got up immediately and started insulting him.
That is a correct translation from Portuguese.
So I figured instead of going over going over the translations you have in that one tweet, I figured we just go over this real quick.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
So
here is the article. Let me get down to the thing again.
Now we kind of heard this story before, and we knew that Ibra ended up pouncing and clobbering him, Zlatan, and then the rest of the team were like, okay, dude, don't punch him, please. So we told the story in the big soccer days. And then nobody believed us. But now we're finally getting to people are talking about it. And
shit's also a little different from what was being told, though.
Is it?
Yeah, because it sounds like Gooch handled Ibra for the most part.
No, that's what we were saying back in the day.
Okay. I thought you were saying Ibra. You were saying Ibra was going to give a punch type thing. Okay, never mind. Scratch that.
No.
That's different from what I recalled. I'm just saying that. Yeah. Okay.
We were told like 13 years, 12 years ago, whenever the fuck this happened, that Gooch slammed to the ground, got on top of him, was going to punch him in his fucking face, and that the players had to pull him off. Well, 13 years later, the story we told 13 or 12 or 11 years ago, or whatever the fuck it was on Big Soccer Live, is absolutely what happened. Thank you again. We have been verified once again.
Yes.
Our inside reporters rocked then, and they do still to this day.
There's still time, Derek. We win.
I know. All right. But you know what? According to some, we're the bottom of the barrel. Bottom of the barrel.
It was fun to bring back history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back to the old stuff.
Zlatan took the ball and he went to mark him. Then Gooch unintentionally hit Ibra's foot. The thing is, Ibra's foot is huge, right? Onyewu tackle wasn't exactly simple. You see, it was just a coincidence. He hit Ibra's ankle and Onyewu kept playing. Okay. We understood it that Gooch did that, but it wasn't malice. He did it because he wanted to take the ball, and Gooch had just come back from an injury. Imagine running and being a bit scared, feeling a bit insecure. You make a tackle, you do it wrong. Gooch controlled the ball with his back to Ibra, and we felt Ibra coming in, and he went in with both feet on Gooch, really trying to hurt him and saying, damn, what just happened? They both fell to the ground. Onyewu got up calmly. He was really nice with a heart of gold, and we know that is Gooch. Not that Ibra isn't, but he's more impulsive, and he got up immediately, starting insulting him, cursing him out in Swedish, and was speaking in Swedish. Sometimes we didn't understand anything. He tried to grab Gooch like this by the collar, pulled him to throw him down, and what did Gooch do? He grabbed Ibra, and bam, threw him down like a bitch. I think there was a camera filming everything. I think they later had it turned off for Gooch. It was easily like drinking a glass of water. Imagine Ibra. The guy is huge. He grabbed him, let him fall to the ground, threw him down, and jumped on top of him, pinned him down, and raised his arm to punch him, just like we said many years ago. When he did that, I said to him, stop, my God, stop. You're going to kill him. Yeah, that's what happened, folks.
Yeah.
Now confirmed by Pato. All
Someone
right?
who was there at the practice.
Johnny's saying Gooch was trash at Milan. Yes, this is after his injury. He was fucked. He was fucked.
I don't think he was trash at Milan. He really didn't play at Milan because of his massive fucking knee injury, man.
He was really good at Standard Liège when he was healthy before the injury.
He went to AC, immediate injury, never recovered.
How many times did Standard Liège finish at the top of the table in Belgium with Gooch as a center back? I think it was multiple times.
Yeah.
Standard Liège was the best team in Belgium at the time, and or one of the top 3 teams, no doubt, top 2 teams in Belgium at the time. So it's not like he's playing for a crap team.
For a guy Gooch's size, he was pretty speedy. He was powerful, and he was good. I mean, he wasn't going to go to the AC Milan of the 2000s if he wasn't good. I mean, they weren't into the whole marketing aspect of shit that we hear nowadays with our players. So.
Untouchable says Zlatan's about black belt. I don't think he was in 1990, whatever. When was that?
2000s. No, this is
2000.
Mid to late 2000s.
I don't know if he was a black belt then, but I still wouldn't. I wouldn't fuck with Gooch.
Oh, he absolutely was. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Gooch is a big guy, man.
Yeah, you don't fuck with Gooch. Yeah, you don't fuck with him. Yeah,
I just every time I think of Gooch, I just think of his interaction with Borghetti. You know, just like.
Yep, exactly. Borghetti's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, Miguel says it was 2009.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know all of Zlatan's belt statuses through the years, so forgive me.
It's possible maybe he just underestimated Gooch, and Gooch got him. You know, threw him down. Zlatan wasn't prepared. Who knows?
Yep, exactly.
Maybe Zlatan just wanted that. I could have killed you if I wanted to.
I mean, Gooch is a bigger boy. I think generally built bigger than Zlatan. Zlatan's muscly, but he's a skinnier guy. All right, Johnny for $2. We can't beat Panama without imports. Stop WWE.
Thinking of the imports he's referring to, I mean, he's obviously referring to players like Jedi and Musa as far as being Americans who aren't from the American system.
No one cares. I mean, people do care. And those that care, whatever. Being a dual nat myself,
and
we've had this in discussion forever. It doesn't matter. Do you have a passport? You're an American.
Well,
I don't give a shit where you live, where you play. Don't give a.
Well,
don't care.
He's making an argument more so against the domestic development system, more so than saying this person's less American than this person. He's not saying that. He's saying that the American system, as far as development is concerned, is weak, and we need to rely on Americans from outside the American system.
Okay, but for the guys that played this weekend, Busio played was raised in the American system. So was Morris. So was Ream.
Pulisic.
So was McKenzie. So was Scally. Not
very few imports in this squad.
Not Jedi. Obviously, he was born. He was raised in the English system. Let's see. Let's go out wide. Let's see. Who did we play out right again? Aronson.
Musa out wanted, right?
Our system. Musa, not our system. Sargent, our system. Pulisic, mix.
Well, I mean, a mix, you say, but he spent 15 years of it here in stateside. I mean, I mind you may have gone over, played some training over the summers and stuff like that, but it wasn't until he moved to Dortmund at 16.
Yeah.
So I would label that as an American developed. Regardless, I bring this up now primarily because it fits into this topic here. Thanks for the $2, Larry. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Larry. Leonard Maloney, every team should have someone who does the dirty work. I'm the one who does the dirty work. When I was smaller, I watched the World Cup all the time. If I get called up, they won't have to get me a plane ticket to the U.S. I'll just run there. I love it.
I love that statement by Maloney.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. We do need a player who does the dirty work, and we'll get into some players who do the dirty work and may not necessarily get the respect that they should.
Again, now is the time to start considering Leonard Maloney as a center back option. He's basically a fucking center back for Hoffenheim. He basically plays center back for he's so deep. He plays so deep of a defensive midfield line. He's practically another fucking.
Here's an interesting concept though, Derek. Think about this. Whether you have Fossey or you have Dest playing out right. Let's say Scally gets benched because Dest is back or whatever. Now you have Dest and Jedi who want to do the running up and down. But now you can't rely on Scally sitting back and playing as a third center back. What do? Well, you have somebody who's playing the 6 as a destroyer who in the build-up will push back and play your third center back.
Yep.
There we go. Problem solved, right?
It's time to consider this. Ream's not going to be around forever. We need to give a guy who essentially almost plays center back for his team at Heidenheim in the Bundesliga, is a complete destroyer, maybe not the greatest distributor of the ball. Okay, fine. We don't have that in general, and no one's going to fix that. No one is. Unless you bring Brooks back, because Brooks is playing well and Brooks is not. So he's not coming back anytime soon that I can see. He's the only other he's got the same kind of left foot that fucking Ream does. Just can hit you on the dime at 50, 60 yards. Yeah. Other than that, there is nobody else who can do that. No, he's not, Maloney, going to bring that passing accuracy to you out of the back. But he's super competent. He has got a high soccer IQ. He knows lanes and how to shut lanes down. Why not try this guy at center back? And then if that doesn't work, you're still got a destroyer to come in and back up Adams. Although there are other people, this is all going to depend on how Poch wants to play too, by the way. Sure. So there you go. Jeff Carey, $4.99. My obese sister and I had to ask Tack to leave my parents' cozy basement. His behavior was sketchy. He called my sister chubby.
Well, that's not very nice.
You just called her obese.
Well, I mean, obese is a technical medical term, Derek. Chubby is an insult.
I think chubby's kind of endearing.
I feel like chubby is probably less hurtful than calling someone obese.
Oh, yeah, I love your sister, but she's cute. She's a little chubby. She's a little chubby. Somebody said, Go Galazzo says, I love listening to TRC at 0.75 speed.
You listen to us talk, and
we would be very quite slower, a little bit slower. I really think that Maloney should be tried as a center back. Anyhow, yeah. I mean, hey, whatever gets you through the night. Whatever gets you through the night.
P. Morton says, Chubby is in my search history.
Right.
Cushion for cushion.
Fumar says Chubby is an insult.
Chubby is an insult, yeah.
I suppose.
What about, that's true. That's true. You can only get away with saying like, "Oh, look at those fat rolls." It's adorable on a baby, not so adorable on an adult.
But on the scale of calling someone fat, Chubby's a level below fat.
Then Martinez says, Tact is homeless. Give him a break. That's true. He is homeless right now.
That is true. We do know that they're waiting for electricity to be turned back on in Tampa. So I wish Tact the best. Cheers to him. As you know, we love Tact, where we hope everything goes well for him. There.
Yeah. So I'm certain Maloney will get a look. He continues to play. Of course I did that.
You notice, though, however, with him at Heidenheim now, when they're down 1-0, as they were the last weekend game, they pulled him at 65th and put in an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
So if they're going to be down going into the second half, you can expect more Maloney being pulled off the pitch, essentially, in the second half. Because when they need a goal, they don't need Maloney, because Maloney's not going to provide shit going forward. But, if they need to hold on to a 1-0 win, you will see Maloney play full 90 or close to it. 85, 87, he'll be taken off, whatever. So,
yeah.
Brett, I got to go pee, so I'm going to let you organize whatever, and you can babble on.
I'm going to need you back for this next segment, so I'll go ahead, go pee. Go do your
I'm going to go pee real quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
A small bladder. All right, bye.
Spencer Darity. Trying to do my best Derek impersonation here for 269. 3 center backs, Scally, Maloney, and Richards. Boom. Yeah, here's the interesting concept in that sense is that the Musa role in this window, the wing, would obviously be contended by, say, Wea. But would it be interesting to see if that role could be filled in with Dest? Maybe Dest doesn't have to necessarily rely on his defensive capabilities, and he can set up more higher up the pitch to be more creative. It's possible. Yeah. So while we're waiting for Derek to get back, I was on HBO. I had a segment of the game pulled up, and I'll keep this up for Derek to talk about as well. I had a portion of the game pulled up. Actually, not even a part of the game. It's actually before the game when they did the national anthems. That'd be the funniest fucking thing I've seen.
Whew.
So here comes Derek. Let's get his take on this real quick before we move on to that.
That was really good. All right.
Derek, Spencer says 3 center backs, Scally, Maloney, Richards, boom. So what I was saying, here's an interesting concept. That Musa rule is going to be contended by, obviously, Musa, but also by Wea. And also could it be by Dest? Maybe we don't rely on Dest's ability to come back into the defense, and he's just further up the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's the theory. We'll see if Poch plays the same setup for the next. I mean, we have lots of fewer players to pick from, so we'll see what happens. He might have to go to a different formation, but I really hope Derek washes hands. Why? Is Brett going to lick my fingers digitally? I think we're fine here. I think we're good. I mean, are you afraid of I lick my fingers? I just held my penis in my hand. It's okay. I'm going to survive my own. You
practically just gave yourself head there, Derek. I'm just saying.
Not really. Very tangential.
So the next segment I wanted to pull up, Derek, and I was going to play audio from an actual clip of the game.
Yeah.
Not even audio, just video too, because audio is the most important part of it. But unfortunately, HBO has removed the full replay of the game, and you can only go to the highlights now.
Sure.
And all in an hour, because I had this primed and ready to go just before we took off.
Okay.
So within an hour, they got rid of it, and they just wanted to screw me over.
Okay.
So, Derek, did you watch the before the games took off? Because then we watched the replay of it. Did you watch the pregame where they did the national anthems?
Oh, I watched it in Spanish, Brett. So I didn't understand a fuck of what was going on.
My God. They're like, everybody take your hats off and stand up for the Panama national anthem.
Okay.
And then they ended up playing like 2 seconds of like some like very stereotypical Latin music.
Oh no.
You know, it's like not quite like that by any means, but I'm like, oh my god, what did they just do?
Yeah, someone hit
they,
the wrong button.
they had panned right onto one of the Panama players, and he was just you could just hear him saying it in his head. He goes, you know,
yeah. You know,
oh my god, it was
wrong button. Button.
It was hilarious. I lost it. Oh my god, I wish we were doing a play-by-play of all the games, not to do a play-by-play and they have an audio fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Would have been nice.
Oh my god, that was so
hysterical. Right. For the 260 of you who were here tonight so far, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, share it with your stepsister. If your grandma's dead, you know, share it with a cousin or something like that. You know, they'll love the show, especially if they're kind of weird stuff. All right, what else are we doing, Brett?
So we talked about the number of passes between Aiden Morris and our defenders.
Too many.
A lot. There were a lot there. Double almost what everybody else had.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
Yep.
And somebody posted this analytical breakdown. And I think it's kind of best explained how we played, quite frankly. We'll play through, we'll break it up. But there was a lot of between these 5 players right here. Ding, ding,
yes.
Ding, ding,
in possession.
Ball, you know, then goal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not discrediting the style of play and everything like that. I thought it's good to lull them into confidence to come and press us a bit, and then we pounce. But this is what a lot of the game was.
Yeah, and I think
you think I change the playback speed? We won't get so fucked by this.
I don't know. You could just advance it using the button.
There we go. That's not a bad idea. Let's just do that. We won't get dinged this way.
So you can see this is how we played generally. That's when I texted you because it just happened over and over again. I texted you in the first half when we were doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a 5. It's a 3-2. So it looked to me at the time with the possession, it's a 3-2-4-1 because both Robinson and Jedi and Musa were pushed up with Morris, with Pulisic and Aronson, with Sargent on top of them. So it ended up looking like a 3-4-2-1. But too much diddling around. I understand no one was open, but
what I thought was nice about this back and forth, which is different from what we saw like during Berhalter, is there's movement off the ball.
Yeah.
A lot of trap, take one touch, make the pass, and it moved the players around enough to where at the beginning of this play, there were only 2 Panama players in the picture. Now we have 5. What happens is Reem gets the ball and he distributes up to Jedi, which ends up leading to our first goal.
And look at how high up the field Jedi is.
But that's the other big thing. The talking point here in this specific formation with Aronson and Pulisic pinching in as almost 210s in this situation, that left the wings open for Musa, who was more or less a right winger to an extent, but it allowed Jedi, who could get back on the defense, to add as a 4-man back on the defense, but it left the entire left side of the pitch for him to make the runs when he felt it was worthwhile.
So here's the thing. Under Greg, Jedi was underutilized because he always had to come back to get the ball and have 2 guys on him. And he's not great in tight spaces. Here, you can see he's way up the field when he receives this ball.
There's Pulisic, there's Aronson, there's Sargent, and Jedi is above everyone.
And so he's not playing with 2 center backs and being basically told to come back, get the ball, and start some tiki-taka, which isn't his thing. No, he's so far up the field at this point that when he receives it, he's able to go on the attack immediately.
Well, I mean, and we're building up. Look where Reem is.
Yep.
Where's Jedi? Well, Jedi, I think, is right there, actually.
But watch him sprint like a mother.
But then he hits the ball.
Bang.
Him and Reem, they have that connection.
Yep.
I'm taking off. Lay the ball, buddy.
Yep.
So it's again, I'm not saying, oh God, all we do is it's horseshoe ball back and forth with our defense. That's why we have 99 passes for every single defender. There was a lot of passes back and forth to open up the play, and then we played in quick transition.
Yes,
that's the best way you can describe it. We've been screaming at the clouds for like the last year and a half, 2 years, saying play the transitions quicker, please, for the love of God. Let's move the ball up the pitch quicker instead of just this slowly but surely methodical up the pitch. Let them settle onto the fence and then try to cross it into the box. It never worked.
So, I mean, I have to address this. We have said on the show, I don't want to see 3 in the back. And the reason I didn't want to see 3 in the back is I thought we'd play 3 center backs in the back. We didn't. We played 2 center backs and a right back as a center back in Joe Scally, which gives us a little bit more athleticism. I still think in the long run, when everybody's healthy, that might exclude 1 attacking player off the pitch when you play 3 center backs. Instead of 2, someone's got to come off from the midfield or from the attack. So we'll see what happens there. But this was one of the better, way better than anything Greg did playing 3 in the back both times he tried it, which were disasters. This was pretty well coordinated. It was a little slow. It was a little clunky, obviously, for obvious reasons. First game under Poch, but still interesting to watch. The patterns of play were nowhere like Berhalter when we finally got it into the other half. It just, the only thing that was similar to Greg, which was painful, as you state, too much back passing. Just too much diddly doodling around in the back, except now with 3 center backs instead of 2. And that, I think, will get better in time with Poch. And, you know, I know that kind of position is meant to kind of shift the defense and see what you can develop in front of you. And in a new system, you're probably going to be a little cautious about that and see how it develops in a natural way. And that's why we saw what we saw. But I do think going forward, things are going to get better, more efficient, more effective. But, you know, as Alexi said, which he was concerned about today on his show, which was, yeah, why the hell are all these players leaving? Why is Pulisic going home? If I were Pulisic, I'd say, fuck that, I'm staying. This is Mexico. I want to play in this game. But on the other hand, you also have to respect the fact that Pulisic's the best player right now, currently, most effective player on AC Milan. And this is, in the end, just a friendly. And I think that Poch has seen enough of what Pulisic can do and what he envisions as his system. And he's fine with letting him go early because he's like, listen, I know what I got there. That's not what I need to experiment with. I know who that guy is. So let's send him back and get him back early to AC Milan so he can prepare for that fucking weekend game coming up. Because listen, if you play that Tuesday game, if you're Pulisic, you get on the plane on Wednesday, you fly over there, you get there on Thursday, you got 1 day of rest on Friday, you're playing the game on Saturday. That's insane. So yes.
So yeah, we'll get into our player breakdown and how we thought the game turned out. Since you bring in a Pulisic and not missing the Mexico game, let's go ahead and talk about this a bit. So Poch talked about when it comes to players who are playing week in, week out, sometimes you're going to have to manage those minutes a bit different than those who aren't playing week in, week out. I assumed initially that meant he was talking about the practices, the trainings. You know, maybe you're not going to ride Pulisic as hard as you would Reyna if you were in the camp, because Reyna doesn't necessarily play week in, week out because of injury, but I'm assuming he was. I assume that meant that those players who aren't playing week in, week out were going to get pushed a little harder throughout training. Whereas Pulisic, does this, and then he's got to go and ride a bike for 5 or for 25 minutes or whatever. because you don't want to necessarily strain him because he's playing every minute of every game, every practice, etc. But now we're seeing it. He's getting released, so that he goes back to Milan ready to play instead.
Right.
So, which is what you were saying. So that's why I wanted to iterate that. So I took one. So basically, I'm just saying I took one thing that Poch said earlier on in the pressers, and he meant something completely different, I think.
Well, yeah, it's sometimes you have to translate.
Well, it was nothing about the translation. It's my interpretation of what he said, basically.
As Poch explained I'm going to go through the list here. Marlon Fossey came into camp injured, according to Poch's team. They ran the analytics. They're like, you're not all, you came in here with an injury. You're not playing. That's why he's going back. They said it wasn't serious, but not worth risking.
Yeah. It's a friendly. I mean,
right. Weston McKennie came in with a walnut up his asshole, apparently, and it lodged in his colon, and that needs to be removed. So he's going back to Juventus to get the walnut.
It took some X-Lax, and they're just waiting for him to pass it.
Yeah, right. And he also had a small knock on top of that. So they didn't think he was 100% ready to go for the games because of the walnut and the knock. And then Ricardo Pepi, as you saw during the game, took a knock. So
according to Brett earlier on in the show, was not pissed.
Unhappy.
Unhappy that he was getting sent back. But I guess the Poch's take on that in that sense is like, hey, again, thank you. You did what you were asked to do. We're going to be we're going to take a little precaution there. Precautious here. We're going to be precautious here by sending you back in case you have signs of concussion. I'm guessing
precautionary. Yes. So I get that, and I know the players aren't used to that. But what he's basically telling him and what he told Pepe was, listen, right now, what you're doing with your club, even if it's coming off the bench and contributing bigger minutes this season with PSV, it's more important that you're playing on a regular for your club. And I'm not going to risk that by asking you to stay here after that knock. So there you go. Yeah, and with De Jong having his in and out injuries this season, Pepe's got a shot.
I interpreted that as saying that Pepe's got big games coming up for the second team.
Yeah,
Al's not the biggest Pepe fan.
I get it. I know there are people who don't like.
But to your point, you're right. Yeah, De Jong knock, everything. Yeah.
And then with Pulisic, we just explained it. Zach Steffen apparently took a big kick in practice to the left testicle, and
the worst one to get hit into.
Yeah, and so I think a guy gets kicked in the left testicle, you just kind of let him say, you're not going to play anyhow. It's going to be Turner again or Schulte. It ain't going to be you. It's certainly not going to be that guy that Horvath's it over in the fucking at Cardiff. So I think just go home. Go home with your smashed left testicle, get it healed. And that's where we're at. So no big deal on that loss. Here's the updated list of injured, unavailable USMNT players going into the Mexico game. This is the total list. Stefan, we talked about. Des, we know about with the ligament thing. Wiley drank too much. Richards, I think he got had an anal rupture of some sort. CCV.
That's awful.
CCV had anal warts. Fossey, we talked about already. Johnny, I'm not exactly sure what happened with Johnny, but I heard he had massive diarrhea. Adams, we know he's coming back from injury. McKinney, we discussed. DLT doesn't even play for his team in Spain, and he wouldn't even if he were not injured. I think he's just on the injury list, period, just because they don't want him. They're like, we're just to throw you on injury. Fuck you. We don't want you to be on this team. That's what's the problem there. Reyna, we already talked about it. He cried profusely about his injuries. He's from what we've heard in private, he's very devastated by it. Weah, yeah,
I'm laughing at the chat. I'm sorry to hear.
Hate when my anus ruptures. P fucked his elephantitis. Actually, no, I don't think he does. But yeah, IBS is bad, Tony. You're right. Johnny has the clap.
Greg says I come here for the accurate injury reports.
I'm giving you the best I got. Weah, apparently was added to the list, and then they're like, "Are you really good enough to come here?" And he's like,
Really.
He's like, "Actually, I got all these burn marks and scrub marks in my inside thigh from jerking off too much, so he can go." I don't know. That's some heavy jerking off.
He's doing it wrong if that's the case.
Yeah, Paredes has been injured for some time. Balogun did get kicked straight in the anus in the last game, so he's out from another anal rupture incident. Yao has been out for most of the season.
We got to question these medical stats, man. Way too many anal ruptures going on, man.
Apparently, when you touch Yao, he says "ow," so he's out. Anyhow, so many motherfuckers are out. It's crazy town.
If you touch Yao, he says ow.
So too many guys out injured. Let's see if this gets fixed, because this is really absurd. Really absurd at this point.
Yeah. So we started the with Brett talking about player by player breakdowns.
Right. Yeah.
I figure let's run down the list pretty quickly here. We talked about Turner. We talked about Ream.
Yep.
I thought McKenzie played really well, better than what I remember him in the past.
B+.
Yeah. Scally.
Can we put him up anyway? I mean, maybe we don't have it. But
I don't think we need it. I don't have it pulled up. It just takes too long to pull up here.
All right. So Scally, I think, was pretty good.
Scally did Scally things.
B.
I mean, he acted as a center back. That's all you need from at that point. Didn't add anything to the attack, but he wasn't required to go into the attack.
I thought Musa gets a B because of the goal. Otherwise, I would have given him like a C. But
that's the big thing, because we're happy Musa got his goal. We're happy he scored. We're happy anybody scores the goal for the U.S. men's national team. But I feel like people see the goal and it just completely rose-tinted glasses their approach to how well they did.
Yeah, because he didn't have a great game.
Had that great of a game at all.
No, he didn't.
He had moments, he had flashes, but God, I rewatched the game today at work because it's fall break, and that's
I get fall break next week. Yay! All right.
My kids here in Nobles will get 2 weeks off for fall.
Oh my God! I only get 3 days. Fuck! I'm getting.
I get a full week. But yeah, so I'm watching, and I have to say there were at least 2, maybe 3. I think there was only 2 though. Plays where Musa had the ball in our final third. Sargent made the run between the defense, and the ball never came.
Well, and then there was those times in the first half where Musa does what Musa does. He carried the ball all the way up in the final third and just lost it.
So, I don't know. One of those things that Poch is going to have to get into him and say, hey, get the ball off your foot sooner. Make simple passes if that final pass isn't there for you.
How about the through ball he had that went right out of bounds?
The one you mean the one that he tried to play to Sargent about 3 seconds too late,
and too hard. And then we had Busio, who I'd give a B. I think he did well.
That's
Morris,
fine.
who I'd give like a B-. Pretty good.
We had that conversation early on before the show about who's our more consistent midfielder, and you were Team Morris.
I know, but the more you started talking about the balls he lost, the more I started thinking about my watching of the video.
First time watching, I remember at least one, but going back and rewatching, there were at least 3 or 4 passes forward. 5 in our half that resulted in quick counters and us on our heels.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say that Morris was bad. Maybe those are the progressive passes we want him to make, but he needs to clean that aspect of his game up in this match. I'm not saying across the board. I'm not saying he's a bad passer, but no. I thought Busio was much more consistent this match than
I am definitely looking for the Morris I see at Middlesbrough more on this team.
Sure.
Because that guy is the field general for Middlesbrough. Like everybody's just like, give it to Morris. Nope, you don't know anywhere to go. Pass it to Morris. That he makes some great forward passes at Middlesbrough, some very thoughtful passes. So it's in him. He knows how to do it. The question is, were there just nowhere for him to go in this game? Because we don't get to see the whole screen. Like we're not there live. So it's really hard to say who is with the camera angle from the half, just in front of the half, but you can't see who's making runs in the front and who's going where. So did he miss some things? Could be. Jedi, B+.
Yeah.
Maybe
pretty solid match. Maybe going into the A-.
Yeah, maybe even A- territory.
But that's funny. I was watching Raj and Herc do their the post game that they did.
Yeah,
and they're like, how are we just now coming across how important Jedi is to the team? I'm like, I don't know how you're just coming across this. This is pretty. It's just been pretty well documented for like the last 4 years.
That's about the dumbest thing I ever heard. Like, where have they been for like 5 years, 4 years, 3 years?
He's a great player, but he when we don't have Jedi, it's a lot we're missing. I'm like, yes, I know. We've been talking about it for a while.
This is not a revelation, Raj. Come on, man. Aronson, C+.
Yeah.
I'll give him maybe a B- for the pattern of play that led to the goal. But boy, he was just missing in action.
That's one thing Herc brought up as far as the positive for Aronson was in that play before he got the ball from Pulisic. He looked over both shoulders, but then he realized that Pulisic's going to want that ball back.
Yep, he made the right pass, and it was perfectly weighted too. By the way,
it was a great pass. No, but as far as that wasn't dark, Brendan. That was it was like light gray, Brendan.
Yeah, too much
wasn't quite there.
Tackled off the ball.
Oh, he got stood up like twice,
I know.
Like it was just funny to watch him like fly over top of the defender or whoever is marking him.
It's like, and some of the times when he had the ball and he's moving it forward, you do realize this guy's just going to tackle you and take the ball away from you.
But there were moments where he would get out of severe pressure and dribble like 3 or 4 players and then play the ball up.
Just like he does at Leeds. It's the same thing.
There were great things to see in this game, but as a whole, he didn't get enough of the ball. First off, maybe that played by design in the end. But he got something like 29 touches, I think it was, or 24 touches. I forgot that.
Not many.
It was the second least on the team.
Right.
So he wasn't getting into the game as much.
Do you think Tillman would have been better as a starter there in that double 10? I think he would have
probably. I mean, as far as at least that once he has the ball at his feet. But Brendan does bring that initial pressure once we get dispossessed that Poch has been preaching about.
Correct. That's why he's there.
That's the question mark right there. I think Tillman, once we have the ball, I think with the ball at his feet, I think Tillman's going to do more than Brendan will.
Yep.
But I think Brendan plays that game that Poch wants.
So you got a dichotomy there. You got Tillman, who's an artist, and you have Aronson, who
Gnat. He's the Gnat.
Yes, he's a Gnat. He can also, cover a lot of space in very little time. He's a hard worker. If Tillman can bring just like 50% of that sort of hard work, then he's going to steal Aronson's spot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
maybe he will. Maybe he will in this next game. We're going to be short of players anyways, so we'll see.
Pulisic. I skipped Sargent, but Pulisic, let's not forget about him. I'm giving him an A or an A-. He's the best player on the field.
This is the Pulisic that we've been wanting to see. I know you and I have been talking about the hero ball, trying to do too much for years. And we're I brought up the previous cycle, the cycle we didn't qualify for. But why was Pulisic so dangerous in that cycle? He wasn't the star that everybody relied on. And that's not to say we can't rely on him, but he did less. He got more done with less.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
He's starting to trust his teammates and realize he can't do hero ball.
Untouchables does say Pulisic was dispossessed a lot, like 19 times. But he also got right back into the play and pressured and dispossessed Panama as well. I mean, we saw the 1-2 connection of him dispossessing Panama with Sargent.
Yep.
For
and
Aaronson's play, who couldn't put it away. The whole lack of being able to score in a box.
Right. Or outside of the box. Or that was just inside the box, probably. Maybe that shot was. But yeah. Still a little timid inside the box is Mr. Aronson. And then Sargent, like people shitting all over Sargent. Jesus, holy fuck.
That was my entire feed for the last 48 hours has been Sargent. And so, elephant in the room, he missed a chance he needed to put away. It was a shot when he's at Norwich would put away 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
He needed to put that away. And that's downright negative. He missed his big opportunity. Saying that though, he and we talked about this in a previous show, like recently, where there was a guy who covers a lot of the EFL, and he goes, there's not a 9 in the EFL that's better than Sargent because of the fact that Sargent makes everybody around him better.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sargent does a lot of the dirty work that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
With Maloney's topic, there's another he does a lot of dirty work. It's not always thought about. The slip headers, his connection with the back to goal. He had several of his touches, his rare touches were actually nice balls, playing it out wide to either Pulisic or Jedi, who are on the left, or sometimes the Moose on the right. That's not to say every touch was amazing. He had some errant first touches that weren't great. He had he got dispossessed a couple of times. I think he lost all of his dribbles, quite frankly. He did have one nice shot on goal that required a save.
Yep, that was second half.
I thought
and it was a left foot shot.
Yeah, and I thought he played well, but not everybody. A lot of people were bagging on him on Twitter because it's been 5 years. I don't know why I put air quotes. It has been 5 years since he scored a fucking goal, and I understand that's an albatross around his neck.
It is,
get rid of that shit.
But not to get too Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner about it, because yes, albatross neck, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Samuel L. Coleridge, if you haven't read that poem, go read it. He wrote it when he was on opium. Not that I recommend opium, obviously. I don't. I've gotten naloxone on tonight, but I did my fair share in college. I didn't know it was heroin at the time. I didn't know. But it is. But you smoke it. Okay. The point here with Sargent is people being way too hard on Sargent. I thought that he got very little chances. He got very few touches to do anything. And you're expecting with 17 touches for him to do something amazing. That's just not going to happen. He played 68 minutes and got 17 fucking touches. That's just nothing. That's small
19,
shit.
Still, same potatoes. Yeah.
19, 17, whatever it was. He barely touched the fucking ball. All right. So number one there. Somebody said, Larry said Sarge is slow. No, he's not. He's already been tagged this year as one of the fastest center forwards in the championship on a straight line speed. So he's not slow.
Larry likes to go by the FIFA numbers. So how FIFA ranks the players.
His work rate,
take it for what it is.
His work rate, as you said, was pretty good. He did create that, which should have been a better shot from Aronson, along with Pulisic in that buildup. He did miss the sitter. Yes, I think
not arguing that point at all, guys.
Again, his left foot had it dropped to his right. We might have had a different fucking thing happen, but as a
I'm
striker,
not even going that excuse. I'm not even trying to. That was a shot.
Hold on. You didn't let me finish.
Sorry, my bad.
He still should have hit it.
Yep.
You don't kick that over the fucking bar.
So, yeah,
but I'm not done with Sargent. I think he's still got.
No, of course not. Well, he's gonna start against Mexico. It's gonna happen. Sorry to say. Not sorry to say. I'm happy to say, but sorry to say for those who don't rate him. Now that Pepe's gone, Vasquez is not going to start. I mean, I know people are lobbing him in there, but it's not going to happen.
Including Lawless. By the way, the source, Larry, I don't know, was something when I was watching the Norwich game, one of the announcers said that Sargent's one of the fastest center forwards, blah, blah, blah. He put out some stat.
Picado wants to know how many Picado wants to know how many touches Pepe got. Pepe got 6 touches. And if I went back and rewatched the game because maybe I had rose-tinted glasses, as you well mentioned earlier in the chat, with Sargent's performance. First time watching. Second time watching didn't change my opinion on the matter. He had some bad plays. He had some good plays. He missed a sitter. He did a good shot. I think it was a pretty average game, if not slightly above average for Sargent, quite frankly. He could do things better. But Pepe had 6 touches in 27 minutes. So it equates to almost the exact same amount of touches, which begs the question as far as the system when it comes to the striker. You're going to get very limited options because they're playing it out wide all game long. So you're going to get very few touches, very few opportunities. You got to capitalize. Pepe capitalized. I'm not taking anything away from Pepe when I say that. He capitalized on the opportunity that Sarge did not.
Yes. So
congratulations. I agree. Happy to say that.
And so thus my grade for Sargent was a C. I think it was average. I think had he scored, it would have boosted it to a B, but he didn't score.
Yeah, I'll give him a CC plus depending. But yeah, it was an average. It was an average game. Positive and negatives, guys.
And as Laverdad says, he's still young, people, and he's playing really well for his club. But guess what? This season he has missed sitters for his club too. This isn't like last season where he's hitting everything left and right. So maybe, there's
19 touches as a center forward. You need a fucking score. No, he needs a fucking score because he had that clear-cut opportunity. The 19 touches, it all depends on where the touches are at. If 18 touches are at the 50-yard line, he's not going to fucking score.
Exactly, and most of them were.
You have to take context. This is my argument with everybody on fucking Twitters. You have to take the context when we talk about stuff. The Sargent hasn't scored in 5 years. Okay, that's true. He hasn't scored in a long fucking time. But he also missed half that 5 years for not playing. I mean, guys, this is the shit we talk about all the time, and I'm not making an excuse. There are definitely opportunities. Sargent should score goals, and he hasn't. Like I said, he needs to get that albatross off his neck.
Oh, so did Tacton Pete give Sargent a 3? Yes, they're wrong. I think at best it was a 4 or a 5, but a 3 is harsh. I don't know what game they watched, but I didn't see a completely clueless player out there. I saw a guy pressing hard and working his ass off. I also saw a guy who put himself in the right spaces, didn't finish, granted, had a great shot in the second half, didn't score. True. I'm not ready to give up on Josh Sargent, who plays really great soccer for Norwich. I'm going to keep him on my list.
And remember, since the 2022 World Cup, Sargent has had like 28 minutes. That's counting his Copa until this point. Until this start. He had 28 minutes in 2 years
now
for the national team. So
Pete and Tack are like, oh, you get a chance, you got to take advantage of it. Okay, I get it.
I agree with that, yeah.
You should. I would have liked to see him score what I thought was a sitter.
Mm-hmm.
And he fucked it up. But that shit happens. You just can't toss a player out because of that and go, oh, well, he's done. No, because his club performances and how important he is, and he is, frankly, a lot of people will. At Leeds, fans will say this, so will Norwich fans. Yeah. So obviously, he's the best center forward in the fucking championship.
The funny thing is, and Al's gonna like this. I'm gonna say about Pepe. In this match, again, second time watching it through, really paid attention to what Pepe was doing. He played for a total of 27 minutes. For about 26 of those minutes, he didn't do a whole lot of shit.
He did nothing much.
No. He was not he was there because he was trailing behind some of the guys who were getting the defenders who were getting the ball in front of it, or the opposition who was getting the ball. But he scored the goal. So then people are going to be like, well, see, look, he scored the goal. But he didn't really do much in that time period as well. So I mean, it's things in context, guys.
I give him credit for being at the right place in the right space. He ran the correct lane. Pepe did for that goal. Give him credit for that.
Yeah.
And we love Pepe. If Pepe starts the next game, if he were healthy, I'd say fine. Start Pepe. You get no fucking argument for me. None.
I made somebody in I think it was Edgar's post. I think it was Edgar. Maybe I don't know who it was actually, but somebody had commented like, "Oh, Sargent's trash." I'm like, well, I thought he played fine. He's missed his opportunity, but Pepe's on. I hope Pepe scores. And then Pepe scores, and the guy was like, "We'll talk now. What are you going to talk now about, bozo?" I'm like, I literally fucking said I hope he scores. I don't know what you want from me, man.
This whole
the dumbest thing in the world.
It's so stupid, this competition. No, we want all of the strikers to do well. Pepe, Balogun,
yes, 100%.
Sargent. What the fuck is this ridiculous competition going on here where we all got to beat each other up? I don't care who ends up on top as long as it's the best guy. I'm not saying any of them right now have made an incredible argument to be the number one for year until eternity. I think we need to wait and see. Let's give Sargent some more chances. Let's give Pepe a chance to start. Let's just let this play out.
Since we're gonna make things black and white, I'll disagree with you. I don't think we should give Pepe any more chances to start because of all of his goals he's scored. He scored the Honduras game.
I get it.
Scored against Jamaica, and then against Grenada. Those are like 5 of his 6 goals he scored as a starter.
This whole
11 goals, I mean. So he's a super sub, Derek. He should just coming off the bench all the time.
I'm just getting sick of the people out there who are anti-Pepe and hate Pepe, and then the people who are anti-Sarge and hate Sarge, and then those smaller group of people are like, Balogun's he's not going to be good for this team. That's a very small group, but I see him out there. He doesn't fit in the system. He's never going to be a good center. Just let Poch work this shit out. He'll figure it out. He's a smart guy. He'll figure out who the right guy is for the job eventually as he kind of puts this system together and figures out how all the pieces work. But the fact that Poch started Sargent should tell you something about what he thinks of Sargent. He thinks highly of Sargent. So, say what you want. Now, if you think Poch is a moron, fine. Then Poch is just a moron. But if you actually think Poch is an actually reliable, decent thinking manager, coach, then you're thinking he did that for a reason because he thought that Sargent is the most dynamic. He does more things. Pepe is mostly an in-the-box finisher. That's what he is. Balogun is a run-through-the-lanes guy. Sargent is the only guy we have on a regular basis outside of Haji Wright, who we're playing at left winger or whatever, who can hold the ball up, dribble past a few guys, and has a really good shot. Now, has he showed it for us? No, but he shows it on a regular basis for his club team. And as I said, is really rated as the best center forward in the championship right now.
Sargent is the best playing with his back to goal.
Yes,
and he hold the play. And he brings the entire team in on the play. Pepe is a great poacher, and he's good in the air. Balogun is great running those lines.
Yep.
So
they're all different players.
Is Ballo better than Sargent running between those lines? Absolutely.
No.
Running between the lines?
I think Ballo's better running through the lines.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You threw me for a loop when you said no. I was like, wait, no,
I misheard you. Can Sargent run through the lines? We've seen it at Norwich. Yes, he can. Is he as good at Balogun? Is he faster than Balogun? No, he's not.
So it's one of those things. What is? I know you mentioned this as well, so I'm going to quickly go over it. What is Poch wanting in a striker? And then in that 9 role, what is he wanting that player to do? And whether it's going to be slotting between the lines or hold up play and bring whatever, he's going to make that decision, and he's got 3 strikers who are all in relatively good form. And Pepe's less form because he doesn't play much at the club, but he's great. He's got solid enough form for the national team. So
Right.
it's his decision. I don't know why we're battling and talking about this player sucks over this player. They're great. The 3 great options. I'm happy to have this problem right now.
And Judge Didi says, and I'm sorry I'm so hoarse, guys, but I just did play a show over the weekend and my voice is gone. He says score goals. Well, that's the other challenge, right? Because out of the 3, Sargent's the regular starter, and he scores goals for Norwich. Pepe comes off the bench and scores goals for PSV, and Balogun's been going through some dips and not scoring.
Some recently good form of scoring, though, but yeah.
Recently, but then he went through a ditch where he didn't even get the start or play much. So, it's something we all need to be patient about. There's no reason for all of us to be sparring about this. Why are we arguing about this? Let's keep them all in the picture and let this shit evolve. Let's quit arguing about it, is all I'm saying. And for the 285 of you here right now, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. Make sure you hit the like button for sure, whether you're on Twitter or here on YouTube. All right, let's.
I'll say just adding on to that score goals concept. This is the one thing that kind of irks me in the end, though. Being a former striker, is that there's more to your game than just scoring goals. Yes, scoring goals is 100% one part of your game because you're the closest to the goal. You should be scoring goals, but there's a lot more facets to the game as a striker.
I agree, but Jair Vasquez says can't really put that much stock in the championship compared to what? The fucking Liga? Is the bottom 10 of Ligue 1 better than the championship? No, it's not.
What the Eredivisie?
Is the only 2 teams, 3 at best, are better than championship teams. The rest of the fucking Eredivisie is a garbage league. Okay, that's harsh.
That's harsh.
It's not good. It's not good. Okay? So, yes, the championship is a devastatingly, incredibly competitive league that is top notch. Top fucking notch, my friend.
I also have to say, if you guys haven't really this season, especially if you guys haven't sat down and watched Norwich play, they are playing some really good soccer out there. Actually, again, I've been thoroughly entertained, quite frankly, more so than a lot of other games around leagues.
Jahir, I'm not picking a fight with you. To say the League One is the top 5 league is fine in itself.
It's questionable. It's actually it dropped out of the top 5 over the last couple of years, but
behind Portugal,
right? Yeah.
So, okay, usually there's about 4 to 5 really good teams in the French league, and then it starts to drop off significantly. They're not really good. You get to the bottom 7 of Liga, it's garbage, dude. Le Havre, for instance, what a fucking crappy ass team. Fucking Sabi plays regular for that team. Emmanuel Sabi, who couldn't get regular starts when he was in fucking Scandinavia, plays for that team. All right, maybe he's better than he was in Scandinavia, but listen, all these leagues' bottom tier things are horrible. Fucking Holland's bottom tier teams are garbage. Garbaggio. Crap leagues at the bottom end. There is the bottom 4 or 5 teams in the championship suck, but there are 24 teams in the championship, and they don't all suck. They are players, many of them who played in the Premier League as well in that league at one time or another in their career. So anyhow, yes, Danny.
Jog on.
Brett, you're going to hate this, but Tiny Bladder's got to go pee again. I'll be right back.
Gravy.
All right, for the 285 of you, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandmother, and we'll be back with our picks for the starting 11. I'm going to go pee real quick.
Right on. Placata does say championship teams don't play in Europe either, though, which teams like Monaco and PSV do. Hey, again, not discrediting the top teams of Ligue 1 or the Eredivisie. Those teams Can you compete? The whole point is depth as a whole. Do you really think as Derek mentioned, do you think the bottom half of Ligue 1 or Eredivisie really would compete in the championship? It's possible, I guess. But again, man, I'm just telling you guys, watching Norwich play has actually been very entertaining this year. And I'm saying give it a chance, guys. They play well. This is a good team, and I believe they're gonna be well, they were vying for a promotion last year. They're gonna vie for promotion this year too. So all right. Derek, let's talk about picking our team. Really don't have to go over Weston's exclusion, but I do want to bring this up. Larry in the chat's been digging through Instagram, and checking all those Instagram ladies out there, and came across a post by Jedi.
Not sure why my bladder is so small today.
So Jedi says, proud as always to be back with the team and happy to get a win and a clean sheet. Another big game to end the camp on a high. Thanks, Austin, for the support. So this tells me that Jedi's gone too.
Whoa.
Jedi must be on his way back to Fulham.
Well, I guess that Poch is...
Will we have a bench? This is my question. Will we have a bench against...
I don't know. We'll have like 4 or 5 guys.
Oh,
on
my
the bench.
goodness.
Holy shit. All right. Well, interesting.
So, I mean, Lund's going to get his opportunity. Scally's going to be outright. And do we have another back option?
No.
At that point?
No.
Who's back up to Scally? Who was back up to Scally? Fosse's gone.
Yep.
Jedi's gone. We have no backups to our wings. So we're gonna go back to. We're gonna stick. I know that some people are going with a 4 backline again, but we're gonna be sticking with the Scally, Mark, and Ream, or insert
whomever
3, and we're gonna be playing with more wingbacks.
Do we still? Is Mackenzie going home too?
I haven't heard anything about McKenzie yet.
Oh no, that was on the list. I think we got a list. Yeah, go. Let's put up the list of the players that are.
I gotta go find it.
Are gone. Let's add Jedi to that now.
All right, I think you sent me a message.
For the almost 300 of you here now, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. If your grandma's dead, share it with your stepsister. Thank you for joining us tonight.
So it's Fosse, McKinney, Pepe, Pulisic, and Stefan. So McKenzie's still there, as far as I know.
Can you put that up?
Yeah, sure. 1 second.
Because I just want to see what list it is, because there were 3 lists that came out. Yeah, okay. And now Jedi. You can add Jedi to the list, apparently.
Yeah. So,
I mean, losing Stefan, not a big deal. Don't think he was going to get to play anyhow. But
11 Yanks is talking about Bucio's distribution was excellent, et cetera, et cetera. And then U.S. men's national team today and tomorrow says, I hear crow in Indiana is delicious this time of year.
Already ate it.
Should have tagged you, but yes, that's why I said. I go, didn't he already eat crow this year?
Yes, I did.
By the way, fall crow is the best.
Yes, they're more tender.
Yeah.
They're putting on fat for the winter.
So we'll get to our starting 11 against Mexico here in just a second. Wanted to pull up Alexi Lawless's 11. Okay. Now, of course, Jedi's wrong because Jedi's out now. But he has Schulte in the back, which
I wouldn't complain about Schulte starting. I really wouldn't if he did.
I mean, Turner kind of earned the start again, but I wouldn't object to Schulte.
Just to give another guy a look. Yeah.
So clearly, Jedi is not going to be there. He has Robinson and McKenzie.
Clearly, Lawless did not get the idea that we're going to play 3 in the back again.
Yeah, I would imagine that in this sense, he's just lining them up like this, and then Jedi would be pushed up like he was in this match.
Oh,
everywhere else had him as a 4-back as well.
What was annoying when Stu and Lawless were talking about this earlier, and Lawless is like, no, that was 3 in the back. And Stu's like, well, it's just semantics. No, it's not, motherfucker.
No, that time that was not semantics. No. I mean,
Just
Jedi
ask-
got back around then when we were really deep in the defense, but no, it wasn't.
Just ask Winolda. It's not semantics, motherfucker. We played 3 in the back with 2 wing backs. Wake the fuck up. It's not semantics. That's what we did.
Boomer saying Jedi is in Mexico.
Then why is he saying that?
I don't know. That's a weird Instagram if that's the case.
Yeah, it is.
We'll ignore his Instagram, quite frankly.
Okay.
And we'll assume Jedi's there when we do our 11.
Okay.
So he has Robinson instead of Ream.
No, that's not happening.
Otherwise, that it's McKenzie and Scally, the same 5 in the back, except for no Ream. I don't see him removing Ream this match.
No, I don't either.
He's got Morris, Tillman, and Musa in the middle 3.
And here, by the way, is why he's not removing Ream. He wants to win the game.
Yeah.
Win it. I don't care if he's let all these guys go. If people think that he's just like going to take a fall here, no, he's not. He knows this game against Mexico is what people are going to be watching, and he wants to make a good impression. He is not starting fucking Miles Robinson over Ream. No, not happening, Wallace. Sorry.
Yeah. So Tillman's starting over Busio.
Doubt that too.
Okay, hold on real quick. The chat's saying we misread it. So here's the Instagram post again. I don't know. Maybe it's the way it's worded. Another big game to end the camp on a high. How am I misreading that? Doesn't that sound like the camp is ending for him?
Yes.
Where am I misreading this, guys? Explain it to me, please. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Maybe he's. That sounds like I'm done with camp.
For the support. He's like, hey, Austin, that was great, but the camp's over.
Oh, maybe he's saying specifically the Austin camp.
Okay, I mean that's a weird way of wording it.
It is.
I understand saying goodbye to. It's understanding saying goodbye to Austin, guys. But to say that in the camp on a high, that's not. It's not a secondary camp. It's the same camp.
Yes.
It's just you're in Mexico. So I'm not camp.
Sure. Yeah, he's not an English major. That's okay.
Wait. Okay. No, I think Kumar emphasized what I'm missing here. Another big game to end the camp, saying Mexico's going to be the other big game to end the camp.
Oh,
okay. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, but
it's still really confusing in my opinion, but I see it now.
If you got to read it and interpret it, it's not good. By the way, okay, we'll go over and we'll finish this, but fuck this lineup. It's bullshit.
Zendejas, no chance in hell.
Vasquez, no fucking way in hell.
He wasn't in the camp. He wasn't in the camp until
he got called up late. Exactly.
No, Sargent's going to start. Maybe Vasquez comes in the second, similar to like Pepe did. Right. No, Sargent's going to start.
Exactly. This is crazy talk here.
Yeah.
Right, Lawless, and we all know how a bunch of the guys, the pundits, they all love Vasquez. They've been sucking his long cock for like at least 3 weeks now. I mean, 3 years. I'm sorry. And it's just getting old. So we're going to do the real deal here of what's really going to happen.
Who's your goalkeeper?
It's Turner.
I think it's Turner as well.
This is what's really going to happen. Well, we usually get 1 or 2 wrong, but no more than 1 or 2.
All right. So Scally, Raymond, McKenzie again, right?
Yep.
I mean, why rock the boat?
You don't. Not against Mexico.
Not against Mexico.
You don't fuck that shit up. This is not the time to experiment in front of a national audience.
All right, so we're talking about the double here. So obviously Morris. And I think Busio earned another game. I can't see Busio not being included there because who's going to take Busio's spot in that role?
Yep.
Tessman is the only option, right?
Yeah, but I have to fully admit, as I ate crow, that Busio is extremely been impressive to me since the Olympics this year for Venezia. because as an off and on starter at Venezia and Serie B last season, at the beginning of the season, I thought, what's going on with this guy? And even prior to that, well, I ate my crow. Bucio's winning me over. He's winning me over.
Placata says he was talking about rotating minutes too, though. And if he was trying to win, he wouldn't send Pulisic home. I understand the sending Pulisic home and the winning aspect of it, but I think that's what he was talking about when he talked about rotating minutes, in the sense of not stretching out players who play consistently all the time.
But Bucio does for Venezia.
I know there's gonna be some players here, right?
Right. Morris
Scally plays. McKenzie Jedi does.
Morris starts
There will
every
be.
game for
Yeah.
Middlesbrough, so
There
yeah.
will be 100%. Yeah.
I mean, but we're so thin now. He's practically has to play some of
Yeah.
these guys.
So
Yeah.
I think the Pulisic one is that he looks at Pulisic as being that key pivotal starter for the U.S. men's national team. Somebody to build the team around. You don't want to stretch him too thin.
Right.
So
why not Musa at right winger again? I don't see anything changing there.
well, I don't see Zendejas taking that role over him, man.
No, I
Come
don't
on.
either. No.
Oh Jesus. Yes. Here we are. I guess let's just go opposite. I guess. I'm thinking it's right.
I don't.
You don't really?
No.
Well, you got it right.
As left
Wait.
wing-
Never mind.
That's
This is
Jedi.
Sorry,
Jedi.
I'm looking at the actual positions that they're in right now. Jedi, who's not
Mhm.
Robinson. Okay, now we can kind of do this again. Let's get this in the formation.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's going to be Aronson and Tillman in the double eights.
I'm thinking Sargent up top.
I mean, the double tens. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, so Aronson and Tillman?
Yep, as the double tens.
I mean, the alternative to Aronson in this current situation is whom?
In the 10 spot?
Yeah, right. I mean, but here's the thing. So we didn't talk about this. When Wright and Haji, not Wright and Haji, when Wright and Pepe were in at the same time, they were almost playing like a two-striker tandem because Wright wasn't necessarily coming back the way that Pulisic was coming into the middle and back. So he was playing a lot more up higher on the left-hand side. So it was almost like a different formation when Wright came in.
So if you were going to switch things up here, you could move Tillman where Aronson is, and then replace Aronson with Wright.
Yeah. I'm just saying, though, that Wright's not going to play the 10 in that situation. He's going to play more of a wide striker role.
Well, we saw that with Pulisic today playing the 10. He was all over on the left, going forward, wide and inside. And I think he would let Wright do the same thing. So if you want to take anybody off here, which I don't think is going to happen, I do not think Wright's going to start.
I don't see Aronson getting pulled for Wright, is what I'm saying, I guess. And it'd be Tillman, though, to get pulled, in my opinion, if that were to happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying if it were to happen.
I don't think so. The only weird thing that could happen here is that you see Tillman starting where we have Aronson right now, and Wright starting where Tillman is, and that he drifts in and out of that wide left position, like he does for Coventry quite a bit. But he cuts inside quite a bit there too. So I think it's still natural to play Wright where we have Tillman right now.
You know, the funny thing is we lost like 5 players after the Panama game, and we only really lost Pulisic in the starting lineup.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. Assuming that we played the same way we played against Panama, I think this is going to be the case. I don't think Wright's going to start over Aronson. I think Poch likes him some Aronson, and I don't see. I see Tillman playing more as a Pulisic type. So, yeah, so I don't see this changing any differently.
I mean, we could be wrong, folks, but I do think, knowing Poch as much as I do, this seems like the setup.
Well, he could change things up completely. We could play a completely different system and format, and it could all fuck it up.
Yeah.
We're making the assumption that we're going to play the exact same thing.
Right. Laverdot says for $4.99, thank you, brother. We love you. If we play with a pivot, we need a ball progressing, press resistant dribbler coupled with a more defensive low ball spraying passer. Want Tess and Busio. Listen, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I think that honestly, I think Morris is making his claim in Middlesbrough, and I must be making it in practice because it seems like Tessman's been kind of left off to like you get the last few minutes in this game kind of guy. It is shocking to me because I did watch Venezia play all season, and I thought Tessman was the best player on Venezia by far. Not Busio, Tessman. And so I am a little surprised by this. Tessman's going maybe through some hard knocks or times in his transition to France. We'll see. But it is going to be, in the end, a kind of a call. But I don't think Busio played himself out of a starting role last game. I think, if anything, he said, I can do this. I'm capable. Yeah. So I don't know, after Morris and Busio building that sort of chemistry together, you rip that up and put in Tessman, who did come in and play, but I don't know what you can say about what you saw in those last minutes with Tessman. It's like
I thought he played fine.
He was fine, but
I mean,
yeah.
The problem was Busio and Morris had longer minutes to play and more of a statement to make there.
And you're playing Mexico, so how much do you want to fuck this up? What you just did before? Probably not a lot. You don't want to fuck up what you already did before that much. You don't want to start throwing Tessman instead of Busio or throwing Tessman instead of Morris. I mean, you could, but I just don't see it happening. It could happen because we don't know Poch like we do Berhalter. Like, we could practically predict everything Berhalter would do. So we're still guessing with Poch now. But I think Poch saying in his opening game of his fucking coaching career that Morris and Busio are my guys on the double pivot in front of the back three says something. And neither Morris or Busio made an argument that they need to be thrown out. So I'm thinking myself.
Yeah, I mean,
managing this team.
Hopefully certain passes forward for Morris get cleaned up because Mexico may punish us more so than Panama did on some of those errant passes. We have let's see here. How would you say this name, Derek? Old Wolf, eh?
Old Wolf.
Old Wolf. He says you could start right at 9 as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily going to happen either. I think we're going to see Sargent again. I don't think Poch was as bashing about Sargent's performance as a lot of people who hate Sargent for whatever reason they hate Sargent. I think he'll get the go again. Then you'll see Pepe, and then you'll see probably Wright come in for either Aronson or Tillman, but he'll be the left-sided CAM. But these are just predictions. Usually we have been really right with Berhalter in command for as long, 6 years?
Yeah. Well, this lineup might get called out, but maybe you're right. Maybe Tessman does get pulled in instead of Morris to test him out. How do you predict something like that, especially with the game Morris had? Again, not saying it was great by any means, and most of his passes were backwards, but he maintained the tempo, moving the ball around, which is what Poch is going to be wanting. So, I mean, he could test somebody like, pull out Morris and bring in Tessman.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the quote unquote like for like in this roster.
Right. Somebody asked if we're doing a watch along. That's Fumar tomorrow. I don't know.
It's 10:30 game, man.
That's pretty late. I
mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to stay up and watch it, but if you want to do a live stream, we can. Up to you. 12:30 in the game, man.
I mean,
just show that semen video more often.
I'll be up and watching, so I guess we're gonna do it.
Fuck it, Derek. We're doing it.
We're doing it. Okay.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. We'll do the live stream. Fuck it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be watching the game anyhow. Yeah, sure. Okay. Makes sense.
Last thing on this is the Geo says Poch needs something off the bench, Brett. Testman and Tillman can impact. So he's saying start like a right instead of Tillman.
Or Testman and Wright can impact.
True. Wright did impact. He got the assist on
exactly. Right. So right. So I mean, listen, the one thing I'm not absolutely secure here is with this lineup is it could be Wright instead of Tillman. It really could be.
Yeah. I think that's the only talking point, quite frankly.
Right. I do too. I don't think you're messing with that back three because if you throw in some, you throw in Miles Robinson into that, whose spot is he taking exactly?
Taking Reams out wide. And
who's got a better left foot on the left side? Ream by like a fucking mile. By a mile. So, I mean, I'm not taking Ream off for.
Here you go. Here's an idea.
Busio in for Aronson. That's not happening.
And the Tasman Morris. But I don't think Aronson's going anywhere, guys. Thanks for the $2. Wuxia.
I don't think that Busio is seen as an attacking CAM. I think, according to what we've seen so far from Poch, and thank you for the $2, dude. We love you, but you've been around a long time. I just don't see that happening. I thought that the Busio Morris pairing was pretty solid for the most part, except for the fuck ups that Morris made.
I had some quotes from Busio's presser where they asked him, "Hey, what position do you think you fit the best?" And he basically stated that he's a box to box 8. So I don't think he's going to be filling the Aronson role. He could step in and play that role. He said his best position is the box 8.
Yeah. Isaac Henry says, I'm a big Aronson fan. I know his weaknesses, but I know his strengths as well. And I think it sucks how people think they're cool and shit talking Aronson. I would think that most of the people that shit talked Aronson were Leeds fans when he left, and they're having a hard time coming to grips with him coming back. But he's won them over.
I think he's referring to U.S. men's national team fans.
As far as U.S. men's national team fans, they're a right to criticize some of Aronson's limitations in the box in the final third. That has been Aronson's Achilles heel. His, as you said it earlier, his what's around his neck. He has
an albatross too.
Albatross around his neck. That is something that Aronson's going to have to fix. I don't like the shit talking part. Yeah, I agree with you there. But I think it's fair to criticize him when he, like we did last season at Union Berlin, until all of a sudden, in the last 7 games at Union Berlin, he became Dark Brendan. And that's what we need to see from Brendan Aronson. Dark Brendan. If we get Dark Brendan, we get the best of Aronson.
He shows flashes of it with Leeds right now.
He does. He has this season. Yes.
When it's there, he's on par. But I mean, we saw it against Panama. He had a couple flashes, but again, he had a couple dribbles where he just got stuck, and it looked like an adult playing against a child.
Yeah.
How far that kid flew when getting stuck.
I know. Oh my God. It's like, really? You're gonna fall and fly that far? So Aronson still needs to. There's some things in his game that just need to get better. And so we're not going to stop.
Instead of Salzburg era. That's the Aronson we want back.
Yeah, but that's mostly against really easy teams in Austria. But
it's time when he was at Salzburg, when he played for the U.S. men's national team, when Pulisic was injured during qualifiers. That was some of the best Aronson I've seen to date.
And I will give Isaac this. He's really right about the shit talking. Like, we don't shit talk players. We give I think, fair assessments. We criticize Sargent. for not calling for the ball, for not being bold, for not calling out players when they didn't pass them the ball when it was going on 3 years ago. We were all over his asshole for that. And we were right to do so. And then when he fixed it, we praised him for it. And when Aronson suddenly turned the tide at the end of the season at Union Berlin last season for the last 6 or 7 games, we praised him for Dark Brendan. And that's what needs to happen. This, once a player, we don't like the player, we're just writing him off bullshit is what we're talking about here. And you're completely right, Isaac. That's old. You don't, make an opinion of a player and then stay static. Players change. Players evolve. And you, as a critic, need to evolve with those players. So this whole idea is Sargent's shit. He's garbage. That's bullshit. Then you don't watch him play at Norwich. You don't watch him play in the championship. Players evolve. They get better.
So Untouchable says, not really. LOL, you both love Sargent and Aronson. I don't know. Derek spent the entire EPL season bagging on Sargent.
And Aronson. Aronson. I bagged on Aronson the whole Bundesliga season until the last 7 games.
Well, and EPL for when he was at Leeds as well.
Yes.
But with Sargent, the entire season while he was in EPL, it was like, Sargent needs to grow a fucking sack. He needs to grow up here, get out there every fucking week. I'm like, all right, Derek, he played. I'm more of the Sargent stand, if anything.
Yes,
but I'm
not a stand to anybody.
His performance, he's being asked to do a lot in the defense. He's not really getting up in the attack. His Pookie's there, etc., etc. You're like, he needs to grow a fucking pair.
Yes,
every game was like that. Now, it changed because once they went to EFL, and then he started splitting time with Pookie, and then Pookie left, and all of a sudden he's the big honcho. We'll call him out on games where he misses 4 opportunities the first match this season, but then every single game since then has been stellar. Aronson was poor at Leeds. I mean, he wasn't poor. I think Aronson got a bad rap at Leeds, quite frankly, his time there.
No, he was poor because he was Berlin.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. He was soft at Leeds, and that started a lot of the points.
Poor at Union Berlin, except for the last 7 or 8 games of the season at best, where he was spectacular. And now that he's been back at Leeds, he's had mostly really great games and a couple stinkers, but not many. So opinions need to evolve. Opinions aren't assholes. Assholes don't generally evolve unless you're a young child and you're growing. Your asshole will get small, and it'll grow to be bigger. But in the game of soccer, players change. Players evolve. They get higher soccer IQs. They change their attitude. Sargent went from a boy to a man. All right? And now he's the man at Norwich. He is the dude on that team. And if you don't like that, that's fine. You can continue to think he's a boy. You can continue to think that Aronson doesn't have the capacity to play like Dark Brendan. But he does, yet he doesn't always do it. And we need to require him to do it for the U.S. soccer team. So, anyhow, these black and white things, these black and white opinions, the world lives in gray. And you need to be able to shift within that gray to one degree or another to,
Okay. Eric, that's fucking funny.
I don't even know what that is.
Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna pull it up because you're
welcome to the Hotel Transylvania. Do. Such a wonderful place. Such a great place. Blah 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 blah.
Here's Denisovich from Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Like I said, that's funny, Eric. I appreciate the comedy there.
That could be Sargent. That could be Sargent too.
Yeah, that's who he's talking about.
He said Pepe.
No, he says Pepe is greater than Sargent.
Oh,
he's calling Sargent that dude from Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Kaju Sports Club says your mouth defaults to become your anus in the womb. Well, by the way, we all are donuts. Okay? So the hole in our mouths, goes all the way down to our asshole. We are hollow inside. So what you put in your mouth comes out your asshole. We are hollow. We are donuts. Okay,
Deep.
so
It's
there you
deep,
go.
man.
It's not deep. It's fucking, and it's anatomy 101.
I know, from here all the way through your intestines, man. That's a pretty deep.
We're hollow inside.
It's deep.
I mean, I guess. All right. I think we're done.
Vegetables goes more like straws.
It would be more like straws, except for the fucking small and large intestines are all over the fucking place. It's like,
well, I mean, I can make a straw look like that. I'll say we're more like donuts because a lot of us are obese, right?
Oh,
and then the skinny people are straws.
I guess so. And then the hole in the donut's a lot shorter than the 30 feet what make up our intestinal and system in general, our digestive system. 30 feet. That's a fucking 3-story building. If I were to fucking go over to Brett's house, cut him open, and take him to the top of a building and stretch his intestinal digestive system out, it would cover 3 floors. But I would never do that to Brett because I'm not a fucking sociopath, psychotic sociopath.
It's a lot of brats you could make with that, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of brats. A lot of brats. You mean stuff your intestines with actual meat and cook them?
Yeah, then cook them, yeah.
Disgusting. You have to clean out all the poop first. All right. So
that's the thing. That's what you have to do. I agree.
Well, that's what chitlins are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their intestines. They have to clean that shit all out first before you eat it. But you can still taste the poo in them if you've ever had chitlins.
There's some things I'm just like, I don't need to taste that.
I don't care how.
I've never had buffalo balls, but I know that I don't want to have them.
You mean Rocky Mountain oysters?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want them either. Well, we were all full of shit. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who have very strong opinions about guys that will never change their mind. And look what I did tonight, or not tonight. I did it a couple weeks ago, I think, with Busio. Sometimes, people, you just gotta fucking admit you were wrong. And just say, fuck it. I was wrong. Busio's a better player. He made a leap. I didn't see it coming. And now I'm going to eat some fucking crow. Now I have my own show here with Brett. And so we do it publicly. So of course I'm going to have to fucking admit it publicly that I made a mistake. That I called Busio's trajectory incorrectly. A lot of people on Twitter don't have to make that. Well, unless somebody kept receipts, right? So we've seen that. People keep receipts. So, false alarm, sorry. Mexico fans, Jedi is still there. So he is still there. He'll probably start and play.
I think that's all a ploy to get in the Mexico players' heads.
Yeah.
Jedi's not going to be here. And all of a sudden, psych.
Now, listen, we don't like going up against our good friends, Pete and Tact, for the live shows, but we're going to do it tomorrow. And I think, if you want to hear some crazy shit, then join us tomorrow for that live feed for the US-Mexico game, because we call it a little different. We're a little bit different here. We'll probably be a little bit more outspoken, a little ridiculous.
We just spent 15 minutes talking about intestines, Derek. I mean, I'm sure everybody's aware how different we are.
I didn't think it was 15. I think it was more like 2.
A little bit of an exact. It wasn't 2, definitely, but it wasn't 15.
Okay. All right. Either way, we want to thank you all for coming out tonight. We love you. We thank you for all the support you've given us. We're just out here having fun. We'd probably do this if none of you showed up, actually. We'd still do it. But it's awesome to have you guys. What it's really turned into kind of a family. Like, we know all of you guys. I mean, we've known a lot of you for a long time. And I'm sorry I'm starting to sound like this squeaky bitch or whatever. But my voice is blown out. I sang this weekend loud and proud. I'm
still running off of a 3-week chest cold. So my voice fucks.
I can't get over that either at the same time. So for the 315 of you who are here tonight, we really want to say thank you. We will see you tomorrow. Well, doing the live shit. All right.
Jose Lopez got here right at the end of the show. Nicely done.
All right, Jose, you missed all the stepsister talk and, how to get your stepsister hot and ready for the night for a U.S. men's national team game. We'll get, all right, I'm just kidding. All right, we'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. We'll. That hurt.
And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because
Multiple mental health clinicians said that Derek had limited intellectual